now, ladies and gentlemen, with the play-by-play action, the football action of Notre Dame and Oklahoma, the sports director of the Mutual Broadcasting System and the sports voice for Notre Dame, Van Patrick. Thank you, Al Wester, and hello, everybody. And Capers getting all set to boot that ball. And Mike Harper is the deep man, along with Eddie Hinton and Steve Owen. Eddie Hinton, the speedsters in the center of the field, waiting now for referee Wright to blow his whistle. He does, and the ball game is underway at South Bend, straight down the field. And Eddie Hinton is waiting towards the end zone. And he decides not to run it out. So he's going to down the ball in the end zone. He will not run it out. So it'll be first down and 10 to go now for Oklahoma. They'll be running from their own 20-yard line. It was a good high end-over-end kick by Capers. And the Notre Dame defense came down the field in a hurry, and so Hinton just elected not to run it out of there. So we've got the fine senior quarterback, Bob Warmack, 6 foot, 174 pounds from Ada, Oklahoma, to direct this attack now for Oklahoma. That triple duck high formation. Out of it they come with Kuchenberg, put out to the right. They're lined up in the eye. Quarterback Warmack drops the signal. Hinton's in the slot to the right. And Warmack going to give this time to a fullback going straight ahead, Steve Owens. And Owens gets about 3 yards on the play, and he's dropped right there. Middle of that Notre Dame line, McCoy in there to make the tackle along with Condrela, who's the left inside linebacker. They mark it on the 24. Gain on the play of 4. Second down and 6 yards to go. Steve Owens on that power thrust right up the middle. Here's the I formation again, split off to the left. Here's the end Kuchenberg, and the slot is Hinton to the left. Here's the give this time to Harper, the fullback, the junior, going straight ahead and right up to the 28-yard line, and it's scared and two from Oklahoma, and Condrela again made the stop for Notre Dame. Kuchenberg, McCoy, Jackets and Walker up front with Kelly, Condrela, Lavin, and Ryder backing up that line in the 4-4 defense for Notre Dame. And Oklahoma, in 2 runs, have picked up 8 yards. They come out again, and this time they line up in the tight high formation with Hinton in the slot to the left. Womack calling the signals. He gives it off to that fullback again, and he dives to the 30. He was hit there by Jackets, and he went right over his shoulder, and Kuchenberg made the tackle secure. We'll have to wait for them to unpile. It's going to be mighty close to the first down. They place it on the 30 at the first down for Oklahoma. And so the Sooners are sticking to the ground. And about 70% of the time, they use that tailback buck, and they will either send the fullback straight up, or they'll use the tailback and slide him off the tackle. And right now, in 3 plays, they picked up 10 yards. Now Hinton went out wide to the right again. Kuchenberg is deployed out to the left. Warmack on the call in that power I formation. He rolls out to the left, slips and falls back on the 26-yard line. He was looking for a receiver downfield. He also could have run with the ball. He had 2 blockers in front of him, but he slipped and fell right on the 26-yard line. He lost on the play 4 yards. So make it second down and 14 to go. There's no score. We're in the first quarter. 13 minutes of playing time remaining at South Bend. It's Oklahoma and Notre Dame. Notre Dame ranked number 3 in the nation. Oklahoma ranked number 5. Here's Eddie Hinton flanked way wide to the right. And Kuchenberg is slipped to the left. Warmack calling the signals with Owens and Harper stacked in the eye behind him. And there's the flag, evidently taking too much time to get the play underway. And so it'll be a walk-off against Oklahoma for a delay in the ball game. Those are the kind of penalties that can give you a lot of trouble, particularly when the ball club has just taken a kickoff, moved for a first down, and now finds himself stalemated with a loss of 4 yards on the first play and a 5-yard penalty, moving them all the way back to the 21-yard line. So they've got a 2nd and 19 situation coming up. Warmack with Kuchenberg out to the right. He rolls out the right, gives the touch this time to Owens, and Steve Owens drops up to about the 24-yard line, and he runs into 3. Notre Dame tacklers right there. Last is Jackets and Lavin, the linebacker, on the right side, and they mark it on the 24-yard line. Oklahoma with the football on the Oklahoma 24-yard line. The secondary coming up. Number 25, Ernie Jackson from Bartlesville, Oklahoma. That's secondary for Notre Dame coming up on the tackle. Kuchenberg is flanked out wide to the right. Eddie Hinton is flipped to the left. Owens and Harper are stacked in the eye behind Warmack, the quarterback. And he's going back to throw. A good job of faking. He throws one downfield, and it is incomplete. And almost almost intercepted by Ernie Jackson, who's mad at himself. But that brings up a fourth down. And listen to this crowd. So that brings in the fourth down situation with 19 to go, and Zabel is in to do the punting. Steve Zabel, the junior, from Thornton, Colorado. And going back now is Gladjo, along with Joe Theismann, in the double safety spot for Notre Dame. And Zabel is standing back inside the 15. The kick is off the side of his foot, but he gets it away to the 45. It's still rolling into Notre Dame territory to the 40-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 to go. That was a kick of 36 yards on the part of Steve Zabel. It'll be first down and 10 to go. Now we have Notre Dame on the attack. No score in the first quarter. A moment ago on defense, forcing Oklahoma to go into a front formation. Ernie Jackson was playing extremely deep on the play, the right corner. Had it not been the case, he would have intercepted. Now it's Notre Dame's ball, first and 10, their own 40. Seymour stood out wide to the right. The quarterback is Hanratty, and Hanratty on the give this time to Gladjo, and Gladjo tries the middle, comes up to about the 44-yard line, and is stopped right there by Castile, the linebacker on the left side. A gain of 4 on the play. It'll be second down and 6. Notre Dame with Hanratty at quarterback. Ernie and Gladjo at the halfback. The fullback is Zimmerman. Ryan Gardner and Seymour are the ends. Riley and Coons are the tackles. Gennardo and McKinley the guards, and Tim Monty is the center. Gladjo flanked out wide to the right, outside Seymour. And here is the give. The fake this time by Hanratty. He throws to Gladjo. He's at the 45. He's at the 48-yard line. And he's tackled right there. Fine job of faking by Terry Hanratty. I thought he had given that ball to the fullback coming in. He hit the ball on his hip, stepped back 2 steps, and hit Gladjo, who was flanked out wide to the right. And they'll mark it on the 48-yard line. Then they'll make the stop for Oklahoma with Steve Castile again. They'll mark the ball on the 48-yard line and make it now third down and about 3 to go for Notre Dame. Seymour flanked out wide to the right. Flip to the left this time is Committee. He's wide to the left. Notre Dame is in the I formation now with Hanratty calling the signals. Hanratty going back to throw again. Sets himself, throws completely to Seymour at the 45-yard line, and he's out of bounds. First down, Notre Dame. And the Irish taking to the air now in the first play with Seymour getting his first pass. So mark it on the 45-yard line and make it first down and 10 to go. It's in Oklahoma territory. Here's one of the great pass receivers in college football. Stetson, I think, to be an All-American this year, Jim Seymour. This big senior from Berkeley, Michigan, has caught 12 passes, mind you, 12 touchdown passes in 2 seasons at Notre Dame. That's one shy of Leon Hart's all-time record with the Irish. Strong to the right this time, and Hanratty on a pitch back to Gladjo. Gladjo is at the 40. He's down to the 37. He cuts back to the 35. He's down to the 33-yard line, and he's brought down by Andy Meacham. Andy Meacham finally brought him down on the 34-yard line. It's a first down for Notre Dame, and the Irish are beginning to move. That's the second first down for Notre Dame. The ball is midway between the sideline stripes on the Oklahoma 34-yard line. Seymour is flanked out wide to the right. In the slot is Committee to the right. It's Power now, T formation to the right. The wing T. The pitch is back this time to Gladjo. And Gladjo is dropped as he reaches the 30, getting about 4 yards. Now let's get down on the sidelines quickly and hear from Bill Everson. This reminds me a great deal of back in 1957, a tough beginning to a game that ended with Notre Dame winning 7-0 and snapping an all-time Oklahoma win streak of 47 games in a row. And the Sooners will remember that this afternoon. Back to the booth. All right, it's second down coming up with 9.5 minutes to go. 19 yards and 3 carries for Gladjo. Here's that I formation. Seymour is flanked out to the right. And here's Hanratty going back to throw. He throws down the middle. It's completed to Seymour. He's at the 20-yard line, and he's brought down right on the 20-yard line. And he was wide open. Nobody even close to him. If you're a big man, he can really get open easily. The ball on the 19-yard line. They mark it where it'll be first and 10 to go. Then there was Castile again, along with Spindrick, the defensive halfback, to make the tackle. Down on the 19-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 to go for Notre Dame. Seymour is flanked out wide to the right again. They have the balanced line, strong to the right with that wing T formation. Hanratty calling the signals. Hanratty on a pitch back this time to his halfback, Gladjo, and Gladjo has dropped it to 20. Losing on the play a yard. In there was Fitzworth, the defensive right tackle of Oklahoma, to make the stop. So they're going to mark the ball right on the 20, so it'll make it second down and 11 yards to go now for Notre Dame. 8 minutes, 39 seconds of playing time remaining in the first quarter. No score, Notre Dame and Oklahoma. The Irish back in the huddle. Oklahoma with that 4 or 5-man defensive line with the nose guard in there. Ken Davis, McDuff, Peso, Pittsworth, and Files up front. Castile, Trimmer backing up the line. The I formation. Here's Hanratty going back to throw again. Looking for a receiver. Throws it out there and it is incomplete. Intended for Seymour, and he hit him just a little bit too high that time. Well, it's understandable, Dan, why Terry Hanratty throws for Jim Seymour. This fellow is a fabulous catcher. He went high in the air, had that one on his fingertips at the 10-yard line, and he tipped it up in the air. There were 3 men in the secondary of Oklahoma on top of him there, and all 3 were diving for Mr. Seymour. If one of them had been loose for a second, he could have intercepted. But as it stands, Notre Dame's got a third down situation and still 10 yards to go from the Oklahoma 20. Bradshaw flanked out wide to the right. Weingartner slipped to the left this time. Seymour deployed out, and here's Hanratty going out to throw. He's looking. He throws one to Seymour at the 10. He's out of bounds on about the 8-yard line. It'll be a first down to Notre Dame, and listen to this crowd at South Bend. First down, the ball is marked on the 8-yard line, and Seymour got open again now. Wide open, as a matter of fact. He went with the down and out pass pattern there, and he was going for the sidelines, automatically stopping the clock. That was his third catch, Van. Here we've got a first down goal, Notre Dame on the 8-yard line. Seymour and Cornetti are flanked to the left, and here's the give to Gladwell, trying to find some running room. He's going to be dropped on the 7-yard line. It closed up over there. Peso and Pittsworth and McDuff all in there with Castile, the linebacker. As they pull him down, they're going to mark it on the 6, a gain of 2 yards on the play. So it'll be second down and goal to go now for Notre Dame. They started this drive on their own 40-yard line. 7 minutes, 45 seconds to play in the first quarter. No score. Oklahoma, Notre Dame. Out of it they come. Flanked out to the left again. Cornetti and Seymour. Cornetti is wide. Seymour split out just about 10 yards outside the left tackle. In the I formation, Hanratty going back to throw. Got great protection. Look for Seymour. And let's see what happens here. Interference is called. Interference is called on Seymour. One of the defensive backs there of Oklahoma. One of the defensive backs just bumping into looked like Joe Pierce there, number 41, bumped into Seymour. So it'll be on the 1-yard line and an automatic first down. First down on the 1-yard line, and the Irish now have 4 big shots at that goal line. I have a feeling now that the power game Notre Dame plays with fullback Jeff Zimmerman will be put into effect. Zimmerman can plow that distance. Now they line up in that I formation again, the strong to the left, and the give is to Glasgow, and he flies into the end zone. Touchdown, Notre Dame. Diving in over left guard, and the Notre Dame bench is really excited now as the Irish move 60 yards and will have the try for point. Scott Temple will attempt the extra point. Hanratty will hold. The ball is spotted, it's kicked, it's up, and it's good. And the score is Notre Dame 7, Oklahoma nothing. We'll be back with Notre Dame kickoff in just a moment. Notre Dame leading by a score of 7-0, and Capers is getting set to kick. And Bill Everton down on the sidelines, a lot of excitement. And you're right, and I have with me Jim Wright, a sophomore linebacker who is out with a sprained knee, the son of Harry Wright, Notre Dame All-American in 41-42. Jim, how about the defense so far? Well, defense has been great so far. They haven't passed that much, but defense has really set off the run, and it's really doing a great job. You'd like to be out there, wouldn't you? Yes, sir. I'd do anything to be out there. Jim Wright, linebacker, Notre Dame injured. Back to Van. There's the boot now by Capers. Hinton has it on the 1. He's back to the 5, to the 10, 15, to the 20, 25. And he comes on back to the 28-yard line before he's brought down. He was pulled down in there by Jackson, number 25 of Notre Dame. So now Oklahoma with the ball on the 28-yard line of Oklahoma. First down and 10 to go. 7 minutes and 22 seconds of playing time remaining in the first quarter. And the score is Notre Dame 7, Oklahoma nothing. Mendenhall out over the ball. And out wide to the right goes Hinton. They line up in that I formation, the triple deck power I. Womack with the ball and throws to Hinton on that slant-in pass, and Hinton is at the 45, and look out. He's at the 40, the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. It's a touchdown for Oklahoma. A beautifully executed play as Womack hit Hinton on a look-in, a slant in, and he went 72 yards for a touchdown.
72 yards, and as we pointed out in the opening lineup, Eddie Hinton is touted as one of the greatest athletes to come out of the University of Oklahoma in many years. He has great speed, fabulous hands. At 200 pounds, 6'1", he is a dandy. Here's the kick.
There's the kick by Bruce Kerr, and it's in the air, good. And it's Oklahoma 7 and Notre Dame 7. We'll be back with the Oklahoma kickoff in just a moment. Here's the boot down. It's taken right on the 15-yard line. And Notre Dame back to the 35, to the 40, back to the 45. Goes Notre Dame with the football all the way back to the 45-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 to go. And that was Kuchenberg, the fullback, who ran it back to the 45-yard line. The kick was short. He picked it up on about the 20, ran it back to the 45. So Notre Dame with great field position now. It'll be first down and 10 to go from their own 45-yard line. Gladjo split out to the right. Seymour is deployed to the left. It's the I formation. Short side at 7-7. Home ready. On the give this time to his fullback, Zimmerman, across the 50, goes to the 47-yard line with it before he's hauled down in there by Peso from Newton, Massachusetts. 6'1", 210-pound senior to make the tackle.
And we've seen the outside game of Notre Dame. They have turned the corners very well in their first drive for a touchdown. Now they're going to start the power game with Jeff Zimmerman up the middle.
Second down and 3 yards to go. That I formation with Seymour to the right. And here's a give again to Zimmerman, and this time he gets to the 46-yard line, and Castile makes the tackle there for Oklahoma. So he's just about a yard shy. The series of downs originated on the Notre Dame 45. It's now on the Oklahoma 46. 6 minutes and 20 seconds of playing time remaining with the score Oklahoma 7, Notre Dame 7. This game is being broadcast around the world through the facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Network and to every state in the Union over the Mutual Network. And Ratty on the call. Gives again to his halfback. Gladjo getting good blocking up middle. Goes across 45 down to 43 and picks up a first down for Notre Dame, and that's number 6. And the guards in there, DiNardo and McKinley and Tim Monty, the center, doing a good job of blocking up the middle. So it'll be first down and 10 to go. And taken up on the play was Vic Peso, and Oklahoma calls the timeout with the score Oklahoma 7 and Notre Dame 7. Sure, you've heard about radio tires. You know they're different. But what does that mean for you? Well, take the B.F. Goodrich Silvertown radio. Its radio cords run parallel to each other. No crisscrossing, no rubbing. So they stay cooler, last longer. A rigid cord belt keeps the Silvertown radio running straighter, smoother, and knee-action sidewalls hold all the tread on the road. So you drive easier, drive smoother, safer, and get up to double the mileage of ordinary tires. All good reasons to try the BFG Silvertown radio. There was a great deal of talk about Notre Dame not having the speed in the backfield to make those turns, and that they would use a lot of power plays running off the tackles and back up the middle. And I'm sure that the monster man in this 5-2 monster defense of Oklahoma's, that's Jerry Harper, and he happens to be the brother of the fullback. He and fullback Mike Harper are brothers. Have both been schooled to jam that middle. Well, that last play, we saw the monster man jamming the middle. John Watson of Tulsa has replaced Peso at left tackle for Oklahoma. Now they flood that wing T formation to the left. Seymour flanked out. Here's Henratty on a pitch now to Gladjo. Into the middle, he goes to the 40. Getting about 3 yards on the play, and Watson, who just went in there, and Steve Castile, the linebacker on the left side, who has been playing a brilliant defensive game for Oklahoma, making the tackle on the 40. Now Peso is coming right back in, and Watson goes out. So the ball is right on the 40. We've got 5 minutes, 35 seconds of playing time remaining in the first quarter. Oklahoma 7, Notre Dame 7. An explosive ball game with Hinton going 72 yards to tie it up after Notre Dame had gone out in front. Signals are being called by Hanratty. He's going back to throw, looking downfield, throws one. This one is completed at the 31-yard line. And out of bounds goes Weingartner. Weingartner is knocked out of bounds on about the 25-yard line. That was the tight end, Jim Weingartner, 225-pound senior from Lima, Ohio. And they're going to mark the ball on the 24-yard line of Oklahoma. And so the Irish coming right back. And that's 7 first downs picked up so far. Weingartner picking up 15 yards on the play. First down and 10 to go from the Oklahoma 24. The I formation again. Signals are being called by Hanratty with 2 flankers to the right. Hanratty rolling out to the right, looking, throwing over the middle. It is incomplete, intended for Seymour, and deflected there by Castile, the linebacker.
Actually, that play was set up on the previous play. They had sent Seymour down on the right side on the last play. He was double-teamed, and Weingartner, who went to the left on a flare pass, was open and able to pick up about 15 yards. Now they come right back trying to hit Seymour as the only receiver downfield.
Hanratty's getting great protection. He's getting time to throw that ball. Now he sends Seymour out wide to the right again. Gladjoe's in the slot to the right. And Zimmerman, the fullback, is the setback right back of the quarterback, Terry Hanratty, who's calling the signal. And Hanratty's rolling out to the right, looking for a receiver. He throws one. This is completed to Gladjoe. Gladjoe's at the 20. He's at the 19-yard line and knocked down on the 19-yard line by Pittsworth, the right tackle, who trailed the play all the way and made the tackle. Hanratty, looking downfield, finally hit the short man on the play. So mark it on the 19-yard line. Here's a change now defensively for Oklahoma. And they're getting some speed into that secondary. They're getting Hinton, their offensive back. Hanratty has completed 6 out of 8 for 56 yards so far. So they're getting Hinton in there now to cover defensively on these passes. Signals are being called by Hanratty. 2 flankers. He's going back. Gives on the draw play to Zimmerman. And Zimmerman is right down the 11-yard line. It's a first down for Notre Dame. And what a great call that was by Hanratty.
And what a great call it was. The middle of that Notre Dame line just cleaned it out. And Zimmerman could have gone up there with about 3 fellas on each side of him. It was a hole and a lane up the middle that was as wide as you could hope to have. I think this will be an important part of this game, establishing that running game up the middle, and the Irish are certainly looking good at it right now.
Gladjoe and Seymour out to the right. Seymour is the flanker, Gladjoe in the slot. Hanratty giving on the handoff this time to Canetti, who fumbles the ball but covers it. Canetti dropped the ball, but he turned around back on the 12 or 13-yard line and covered it. And smashing in there, number 79, Dick Pasto of Oklahoma. And so the ball will be marked on about the 8. A flag is down, and the indication is it will be a holding penalty against Notre Dame. And this will hurt the Irish because they have driven deep into Oklahoma territory. The discussion is still going on. And referee Woods indicates to us that it will be a holding penalty. Let's go down on the field now to Bill Etherton.
Well, down here, Jeff Zimmerman has just come off. Is sitting down, and Dr. George Green and Dr. Collop, the 2 Notre Dame physicians, are examining very closely his right ankle. Jeff had been last year extremely durable all year long and very seldom hurt. But they're looking at his ankle, and he was limping very badly coming off the field. Now replacing him is the veteran Ron Dushney, who started out as the number 1 fullback last year before being replaced by Zimmerman. Back up to the mutual booth.
As Bill mentioned, Ducheney is in there at fullback now for Notre Dame, and that penalty, 15 yards, moved the ball back to the 21-yard line where it'll be first down for Notre Dame, and the end of that chain is on the 1-yard line. It'll be first and 20. Hanratty going back to throw, and this one just slipped right out of his hand. That's about the only way I can describe it, Al.
Well, those things will happen. Terry Hanratty had rolled out to the left. He likes to get out of that pocket. You will see him a great deal of the time making the rolling motion to the right or to the left. He had come out to the left, and being a right-hander, as he turned, the ball just rolled right off of his fingers. It went about 5 yards out towards the sidelines and hit the turf.
It'll be second down now and 20. The ball on the 21-yard line, so it's possible for Notre Dame to pick up a first down before they cross that final marker that they hope to achieve. And now Hanratty's going back to throw again. He's looking downfield. He throws, and it is intercepted by Oklahoma at the 10. to the 15, to the 20, to the 25. Comes Hinton to the 35, to the 40. And he is finally knocked out of bounds. That's Eddie Hinton, who ran it back to the 40. And he has been the outstanding ball player on this field today. Eddie Hinton of Oklahoma. And so the Sooners get out of a jam. They're going to mark it on the 41-yard line. So it'll be first down and 10 to go for Oklahoma from the 41. And Hinton just played Seymour perfectly. Stepped right in front of him and picked it off.
Well, this Hinton is quite a fella. He has an excellent chance to be a number 1 pro draft choice, I'm told. The kind of football player that can.
Killingsworth is flanked out to the right. Warmack on the give this time to his fullback, Mike Harper. And Harper trying the left side, the right side of the Notre Dame line. In there to make the tackle for Notre Dame was Condrela, along with the defensive right end. So mark it on the 43-yard line. It'll be a gain of 2. Second down and 8 to go. And that's what you call getting yourself out of a jam in a hurry. Oklahoma with a 15-yard penalty against Notre Dame, and then the pass intercepted by Eddie Hinton. Flanked out to Killingsworth is to the right. He's from Oklahoma City. Got a high formation with Warmack calling the signals for Oklahoma. Warmack on a handoff this time to Steve Owens. Owens powers his way to the 50, to the 49-yard line, and he's in Notre Dame territory and making the tackle with Tim Kelly, a sophomore from Springfield, Ohio. It'll be a first down for Oklahoma. With the ball on the 49-yard line of Notre Dame, and that's 3 first downs for Oklahoma. We've got 2 minutes and 55 seconds of playing time remaining in the first quarter. It's Oklahoma 7 and Notre Dame 7. Van Patrick along with Al Wester and Bill Etherton from Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend, Indiana. And now Killingsworth is flanked out wide to the left again. Eddie Hinton is flanked out to the right. Owens and Harper stacked in behind the quarterback, Warmack. Warmack going back to throw, looking for a receiver, throws a wobbly pass intended for Hinton on the 35, but out of bounds.
This was a little bit of a hurry-up pass there. The pressure was being applied, and Warmack had to get rid of the football. He came to the near sidelines, and he threw it entirely too high. There was no chance for Hinton to get to this one. He was about the 40-yard line, and that ball went out of bounds in about the 35. But I believe that Eddie Hinton in the first quarter here has shown us everything that Oklahoma had said was possible for him to do. He has great moves, he has good speed, and he has extremely fine hands.
Seymour has gone into the backfield now for Oklahoma, and here's Warmack throwing right over the middle. It is completely disabled at tight end. He's at the 35. He's down to the 34-yard line before he is finally brought down by Tim Kelly. Tackled by Kelly down on the 34-yard line. And it'll be a first down for Oklahoma on the 34. And so far, the young quarterback, Bob Warmack, is doing a magnificent job of guiding this Oklahoma attack. He's 21, a senior from Ada, Oklahoma. He took one step back, straightened up, and hit his tight end, Steve Zabel, right over the middle. First and 10 to go now for the Sooners of Oklahoma. Out of it they come with Killingsworth, flanked out wide to the right. In the slot is Seymour to the right. Warmack calling the signals. Warmack on a give to Owens. Owens hitting off left guard to the 32-yard line, getting 2 on the play. In there to make the tackle, McCoy and Jockey, the 2 defensive tackles of Notre Dame. They'll mark that ball on the 31-yard line. Actually, it's closer to the 31 than it is the 32, so let's just call it the 31 and keep it even. Make it second down and 7 to go. That Oklahoma cheering section across the field yelling to go. With a minute, 35 seconds to play in the first quarter. With a score tied, Oklahoma 7, Notre Dame 7. Killingsworth flanked out wide to the right. And Warmack taking this time and on the keeper, running with the ball down to the 25-yard line. He's finally tackled by Tim Kelly, but not before he picks up valuable yardage down to the 25-yard line. And this is the spot that Air Forsigan, the coach of Notre Dame, has been worried about. That inexperience in his backfield defensively. And it's on the 25-yard line. Where it'll be third down and just about a yard to go now for Oklahoma. The Sooners break out of it with Mendenhall over the ball. Out wide to the right comes Killingsworth again. In the slot is Seymour to the right. Owens and Harper in the eye, and the give is to Harper. He dives at the middle and he's shoved right back. I don't believe he made the first down. Let's take 10 seconds for station identification. McCoy and Jockey to the middle of that line. The linebackers, Kelly, Condrela, Lavin, all in there to make the stop. So we're getting the chain out here to take the measurement. So just hold it and we'll see. It looks like it might be an inch or 2 short, and that's what it is. It's an inch or 2 short, but it's only third down for Oklahoma. Fourth down it is. Fourth down and just inches to go now for Oklahoma. Fourth down. The ball on the 24-yard line. And the ball just about 2 inches from that chalk mark on 24-yard marker. Now Oklahoma breaks out of it. Let's see what he goes with here. He's got the wing T formation. Signals are being called by Warmack. He's got only inches to go, remember. He gives it to the big fullback, and he just rips right through there to the 20-yard line. It's a first down for Oklahoma. Steve Owens just ripping right through the middle. So place that ball on the 20-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 to go now for Oklahoma. Owens in 6 carries has gained 25 yards. And that was just a power thrust right up the middle for the first down. Kuchenberg is flanked out to the right. Eddie Hinton in the slot to the right. Warmack on a pitch out to Eddie Hinton trying to go wide. He turns the corner and they ride him out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Eddie Hinton going out of bounds and knocked out of bounds by Tom Quinn, the safety man.
And Eddie Hinton needs only 17 catches this fall to break Bill Jennings' 28-year career school record. He needs only 148 yards receiving to crack Ben Hart's career school receiving record. So to give you an idea that Hinton will go into the Oklahoma books for a lot of records in his senior year.
The ball on the 17-yard line, only about 5 seconds to go before the end of the quarter with the score tied at 7-7. Warmack on the call. And Warmack going back to throw, looking into the end zone. He throws it caught in the end zone by Steve Zabel, and Oklahoma has taken the lead over Notre Dame. 59 yards and 10 plays. And Oklahoma, Bob Warmack, hitting Steve Zabel in the end zone for the touchdown. The play covering 17 yards. And now Bruce Durr will try the point after. With Oklahoma leading by a score of 13-7, Warmack will hold, and Durr will do the kicking. He booted the first one perfectly. Waiting now for the snap. The ball is spotted, it's tipped, it's up, and it is good. And the score now is Oklahoma 14 and Notre Dame 7. In a surprising football game here at South Bend, Indiana. And that's the end of the first quarter. With the score, Oklahoma 14, Notre Dame 7.
B.F. Goodrich launches the radial age with a tire built a whole new way for modern driving. The Silvertown Radial 990. It lasts up to 15,000 miles longer than ordinary tires. Handles easier, rolls so smoothly on Dynacore rayon cord, it even increases gas mileage up to 10%. The Silvertown Radial 990, only at B.F. Goodrich.
BFG Silvertown radial tires are available at B.F. Goodrich stores and dealers across the country. There will kick off. O'Brien is deep with Bradshaw for Notre Dame, and here's a good one into the end zone, and it goes right out of the field to play. So it'll be brought back out to the 20-yard line. In play, first down and 10 to go. Well, as you know, every Saturday afternoon we'll be following exciting Notre Dame football across the nation and around the world. Next Saturday afternoon, truly a classic. It'll be Purdue, ranked number 1 in the nation, against Notre Dame right here in this very same stadium. First down and 10 to go now for Notre Dame from their own 20-yard line. Monty out over the ball. Seymour is put out to the right. So now let's see if Notre Dame can come back. They're down by 7 to Oklahoma. In the I formation with Hanratty calling the signals. Hanratty. And a fumble. And let's see who got it. Oklahoma may have recovered. Oklahoma recovered. Let's get the man who recovered. It was number 78, John Kuchenberg, as Committee started on the line and fumbled, and it was covered by Oklahoma. And what a break now for the Sooners of Oklahoma. Kuchenberg recovered it from Havener, Oklahoma, 6'3", 212 pounds, 21-year-old senior. And the defense will really have the pressure on it now. Kennedy hit into that line, and the ball just squirted right out of his hand. And now Baldridge is in there at fullback for Oklahoma. Eddie Hinton is flanked out to the right. Flipped to the left is Killensworth. Signals are being called by Warmack, and Warmack is rolling out the right, looking for a receiver. He throws one, it is incomplete. Intended for Hinton. And broken up in there by Notre Dame. John Gasser going up and contesting for the ball, so it'll go back to the 20. And I can tell you one thing now about young Womack. He's leading 14-7. He's taking right to the air again, Al. He wants to put more points on that board.
Well, Van, the thing that impressed me was this tremendous kick 65 yards out of the end zone by the sophomore kicker, Bruce Durr. They got him from junior college from New Mexico Military of Roswell last year, where he played ball, and he put it out of the end zone.
The two ends are split out now, Killingsworth and Zabel. Here's the give to the fullback. He's down to about the 17-yard line, and a tackle made right there by Bob Jockett. Jockett making the tackle on Steve Owens, the junior from Miami, Oklahoma, on the 17-yard line. So make it third down, coming up and 7 yards to go. Oklahoma leading Notre Dame by a score of 14-7. And Oklahoma down on Notre Dame, 17-yard line here in the second quarter of this football game at South Bend before a sellout crowd. And sun-baked right now with about 80 degrees. Hinton out to the left. Killingsworth is split out to the right. The I formation with Womack calling the signals. He gives it again to Owens. Owens is across the 15. He's down to the 13-yard line and stopped on the 13. In there, Mike McCoy. In on the tackle, leading the defense for Notre Dame. Number 70, Bob Jockett, the 260-pound junior. And the ball is on the 13-yard line of Notre Dame. And that will make it now third down. Fourth down for Oklahoma, and they're getting the kicker in here, Durr, and they say this young man can boot him from almost anywhere inside the 50-yard line. And the attempt will be made from the 18-yard line, which will make it 28. The kick is up in the air. And it is. We're waiting for the official. No good. No good. So you attempted the kick from the 18, which would make it 28 yards, and the kick is no good. So there's a timeout with the score. Oklahoma 14, Notre Dame 7. Hanratty on a pass intended for Gladwell out in the right flat, incomplete. So that'll bring it right back to the 20-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 to go again for Notre Dame. So Oklahoma could not capitalize on the great break of getting the fumble recovery on the 20-yard line. And Notre Dame taking over on their own 20. And Gladwell and Seymour flank to the right. And Weingartner is put out to the left. Signals are being called by Hanratty. Duceny is back there with him, and Hanratty moved, and a flag goes down. He stepped back before the ball was snapped, and they might have got crossed up on the Cajun's count, and so it'll be a 5-yard walk-off against Notre Dame for illegal procedure. We've got 13 minutes and 28 seconds to go. Here in the second quarter of this ball game, the discussion is still going on, but you can be certain that they will ask that the penalty be walked off. And they do, finally, move it back to the 15-yard line. Illegal procedure. Hanratty is 6 out of 11 for 56 yards and 1 interception. So back to the 15, where it'll be second down, and 15 yards to go now for Notre Dame. Hanratty with Duceny, the setback right behind him. Seymour in the slot to the right, Gladwell flank wide to the right, and Hanratty back to throw, throws one to Gladwell at the 35, and Gladwell gets to the 38, he's pulled down on the 39-yard line. Hanratty waited until the last minute before pulling the trigger, and Seymour, the right linebacker who trailed the play, made the tackle on Gladwell. And so Notre Dame with a first down on the Notre Dame 39-yard line. Oklahoma leading by a score of 14-7 with 13 minutes, 11 seconds to play in the second quarter. Remember, next week it'll be Notre Dame and Purdue right here at South Bend. Seymour, number 85, flanked out to the right. In the slot is Gladwell to the right. Hanratty calling the signals with 2 setbacks, and he gives it off to Duceny. Duceny is at the 40, comes on up to the 44-yard line, and brought down on the 44. A good carry off the right side with McKinley and Kuntz doing the blocking. Castile and Peso made the tackle for Oklahoma. Some excellent blocking down on the right side of the Notre Dame offensive line there. George Kuntz and Tom McKinley there made the move, double-teamed the big tackle there, and had the hole open just enough for him to get through. Seymour to the right, Gladwell in the slot. Duceny in there as a setback, along with O'Brien, and here's the give to Duceny again. He's to the 47-yard line and is tackled right there, right on the 47. Let's get a report on Zimmerman. Go down to the sidelines to Bill Etherton. Zimmerman has now had the ice pack removed from his ankle, and Jeff, the 20-year-old 6'1", 205-pound junior sensation last year, is walking up and down, appears to want to get back in there, and is taking great care to make sure his ankle is all right. If he does, it will make a big difference. Back to the booth. It'll be third down and 1 yard to go now for Notre Dame. Notre Dame in that tight I formation, and to give it to O'Brien. He's at the 50. He's down to the 47. He's got a first down for Notre Dame. The tackle was made by Jim Files, the junior defensive end from Fort Smith, Arkansas, and Tony O'Brien, who was the quarterback last year, now operating as a running back. And the ball is spotted on the 47. And here's a timeout with the score, Oklahoma 14 and Notre Dame 7. To go. Notre Dame has 80 yards passing and 57 rushing and 8 first downs so far. And they have a first down right now on the Oklahoma 47-yard line. And they've got a drive going. They started on the 20. They trail by 7. Here's Seymour to the right. Foley O'Brien, and there's the setback. Gladjaw and Ducheny. O'Brien is in the slot to the right. The setbacks are Gladjaw and Ducheny. Seymour flanked out to the right. Dropping off to cover him, the defensive halfback there of Oklahoma, Jerry Harper. Here's the quarterback sneak. Hanratty going to the 44, and they belt him right there on the 44-yard line. Coming up from the secondary for Oklahoma, number 44, Steve Castile, to make the stop on the 44-yard line. So that was a gain on the play from the 47 to the 44-yard line. So it'll be second down and 7 yards to go for Notre Dame. Right down in front of us, the Irish operating now with Seymour to the right. In the slot is Gladjaw. You can hear that cheering section chanting in the background. Ducheny and O'Brien are the setbacks. Hanratty on the call, and Ducheny the fullback. He plows down to the 40. He's to the 39-yard line. He's stopped by Dick Peso, the left tackle, right on the 39-yard line.
Castile was blocked out on that play, and very beautifully, Dick Peso just closed and made the tackle. Castile getting his baptism of fire today, Van. He is the only man that is not a letterman in that defensive backfield for Oklahoma at the moment. A sophomore from Garland, Texas. He's 6'3", 202, and he is linebacking on the left side.
Third down and 2 to go now for Notre Dame. Football is made up of key third down situations, and here's one right now for Notre Dame. And here's the fake and the pitch out to Coley O'Brien. He's down to the 35. He's down to the 34. He's knocked out of bounds by Frimmer. And Hanratty doing an excellent job of taking. He takes to the fullback, Ducheny, and then pitched out to Coley O'Brien. And the young man has racked up the 9th first down for Notre Dame as Oklahoma leads 14-7.
Well, the Irish are beginning to move the football and move it well again on the ground, and that's exactly what they want to do. They want the running game to work. I think this is Ara Parseghian's ground game. O'Brien now, 10 yards and 2 carries, and he's carrying the football well. He's a determined young man, and the Irish are beginning to look very good on the ground.
O'Brien is flanked way wide to the left, and again it's the Gladjaw at the 30, the 25, and he's down to the 23-yard line before he's brought down. He is tackled by Randy Meacham down on the 23-yard line. Let's go down to the sidelines now, Bill Etherton. Joey O'Brien is a fellow with Mr. Versatility. As you remember, he had his finest hour against Michigan State a couple of years ago in that famous 10-10 tie. He's been a flanker, a running back, a safety man, and a quarterback, and he looks great. Back to the mutual booth. Gladjaw to the right, Seymour split out to the left. O'Brien and Ducheny, and the give it to Ducheny at the 20 and the 15. He's down inside the 15-yard line of Oklahoma. It's a first down for Notre Dame. And the monster man, Jerry Harper, the senior from Jinx, Oklahoma, made the tackle. They're going to march this ball just over the 14-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 to go. And good blocking up front.
Then I'll say one thing. If Jerry Harper, the monster man, hadn't made the tackle there, and he just got him from behind and at an angle to the left, if he hadn't made the tackle, I believe that Ducheny might have went all the way.
Well, the officials now, they've called that chain out there. The series originated on the 34, and they've moved this ball now right on the 14, which means he's a couple of inches shy of the first down. They had already indicated the first down, and then the Oklahoma team asked for a measurement, and they got the chain out there, and it showed it just a couple of inches shy. So make it now. Notre Dame 90 yards rushing and 20 carries, and they have the ball with a second down and just inches to go. Hanratty on the call. He's got Seymour flanked out wide to the right. Here's the quarterback sneak. Hanratty running straight up down to about the 10-yard line, and that makes sure on the first down. He's stacked up in there by Pittsburgh and Peso, and that's the 11th first down for Oklahoma's opponent of the day, Notre Dame. And they have the ball just outside the 10. We'll call it the 10 and keep it even. Oklahoma leading 14-7 with 9 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the first half at South Bend before a jam-packed sellout crowd. Shirt sleeves. Seymour flanked out wide to the right. Coley O'Brien is split to the left. The I formation. Gladjo on the top of the I. And Gladjo takes the fake, and the throw is to the end zone to Seymour. It's a touchdown. In the end zone for the touchdown, and that ties Leon Hart's record. The Irish goes 80 yards in 12 plays, and now they're going to try to tie it up as Scott Hempel boots the ball. It's in the air, and it's good. And the score is Oklahoma 14, Notre Dame 14. We'll be back with Notre Dame's kickoff in just a moment. The Notre Dame band and the famous Notre Dame victory march, and what a ball game we've got here today. Capers will kick off, and Eddie Hinton is the deep man standing on the 2-yard line for Oklahoma. And what an explosive ball game. And everybody we talked to last night at the Holiday Inn here in South Bend were all saying the same thing. They thought it would be a high-scoring ball game, and we're getting exactly that. It's tied up at 14-14, and Capers will kick off. Eddie Hinton standing right in the middle. Henready did a great job of faking the Gladjo and then hit Seymour right in the end zone for the touchdown. Here's the whistle. Here's the boot by Capers. And a low floating kick bounding around on the 10. It's taken on the 10-yard line. And back to the 20, to the 25. Goes Baldridge. And Baldridge is tackled and brought down on the 28-yard line. Baldridge running it back there for Oklahoma. And making the tackle. Notre Dame was Tommy Quinn. And let's see what we're going to mark here on the, call it the 20, let's call it the 29 because it's closer. On the 29. First down and 10 to go for Oklahoma from their own 29. Stood out to right is Killensworth. Hinton is in the slot to the right. Now the T formation and the post at this time, and the give is to the fullback Owens, and Owens is hit as he reaches the 30-yard line by Lavin, the linebacker, who was red dogging on the play and just smashing in there.
Great job by John Lavin. We saw him in preseason work, and this big guy has yet to win his runner at Notre Dame. He's a senior this year from Spokane, Washington, but he's 6'4", 225 pounds. He's the right inside linebacker on the 4-4-3.
Hinton is flanked out to the left. Killensworth is split to the right. The I formation again with Warmack calling the signal. Warmack is going straight back to throw. He's being chased back there. He's tackled. He's brought down. Back on the 23-yard line by Pop Jockey. The junior right tackle at Notre Dame and a great defensive play. He just stayed with him all the way and brought him down back on the 24-yard line. 8 minutes and 5 seconds of playing time remaining in the second quarter. And the score is tied. Oklahoma 14 and Notre Dame 14. And Jockey did a great job defensively.
The shifting 4-4 up in the front there had the blocking really mixed for Oklahoma, and that was a big problem. Jockey got through all by himself because Mike McCoy made the first drive.
Killensworth is split out to the left. Eddie Hinton is flanked to the right. Signals are being called by Warmack in that power I formation. Warmack is rolling out to the left, looking for a receiver, throws one down the middle. It's caught by Eddie Hinton. He caught it at the 39-yard line. And did a great reception as Notre Dame had 2 men on him. Roger Baldessari, who's the director of sports information here at Notre Dame, and Roger moved in here quickly. We were promised an exciting ball game, and we're really getting it.
Well, Dan has seen for it. It's a battle of two big offenses, and I don't think the excitement is finished for the afternoon yet.
All right, the ball is marked on the 39-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 to go for Oklahoma after taking that big loss. Oklahoma came right back and got a first down. In the I formation was Hinton. And Killensworth flanked out to the right. The give is to the fullback Owens, and Owens is to the 41, to the 42, and is tackled on the 42-yard line. In there making the tackle, Mike Condrela, the left inside linebacker of Notre Dame. So mark it on the 42-yard line. It's actually on about the 41 and a half. And make it second down coming up in about 7. Remember, it'll be Purdue and Notre Dame next week. Oklahoma 14, Notre Dame 14. Oklahoma has 40 yards rushing and 17 carries today.
Well, Actually, I think that Womack was making this as the last desperation attempt to get rid of the football. He overthrew his man, and I don't believe that he felt that Johnson could get to the football. But I can't get over the fabulous catches of this Eddie Hinton, the senior from Lawton, Oklahoma. This fella is a really great flanker. Once he grabs that football, you have got to double team him to get him down. Oklahoma now has a third down situation coming up in long yardage, Van.
Third down and just about 7.5 yards to go as Womack takes it, rolls out to the right, throws one, it is incomplete. Send it to Joe Killensworth, and it goes incomplete. And so that'll bring up the fourth down and 7.5 yards to go with 6 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the first half. Oklahoma 14, Notre Dame 14. And now Gladjo coming in there along with Joe Theismann. And the kicker coming in here is Zabel for Oklahoma. The line of scrimmage, the 41.5-yard line, and dropping back now, Theismann going deep. Gladjo will be the close safety man. Zabel is standing back inside the 30-yard line, ready for the snap. Perfect pass from center. Gets his kick away and booms it high and deep. Theismann waits for it on the 19. He's to the 20. He is dancing his way up to the 23 and is dropped on the 23. It's a 39-yard kick and a 4-yard return. So make it first down and 10 to go now for Notre Dame. And they have the ball on their own 23. And look at this crowd at Notre Dame. Now it'll be first down and 10 to go for the Irish, running from their own 23-yard line. 6 minutes of playing time remaining here in the first half. Jim Seymour, the All-American end, who caught the touchdown pass a moment ago to tie the game, is put out to the right. He is the only flanker. 2 setbacks. And the give now is to Gladjo. Gladjo to the 27-yard line, getting 4 yards on the play. And tackled by Primer, Don Primer, the linebacker on the right side, 185-pounder from Euless, Texas, making the stop. Well, we hope wherever you are, across the nation and around the world, you're enjoying the ball game from South Bend because it certainly is exciting today. Gladjo in 10 carries has gained 41 yards today.
We've got the original backfield back in there. Hanratty is working with Carnegie, Gladjo, and Jeff Zimmerman back at the fullback.
Seymour flanked out wide to the right. And here is the give to Zimmerman. Zimmerman plows his way up to the 31, possibly the 32, and Peso makes the tackle on the 32-yard line. We appreciate the many wires coming in from around the nation of followers, college football. Ball on the 32-yard line. 5 minutes and 21 seconds of playing time remaining in the first half with the score tied. Oklahoma 14, Notre Dame 14. Now Seymour flanked out wide to the right. And dropping off to cover him is a monster man, Gary Harper. Signals are being called by Terry Hanratty, who fumbles the ball. Let's see who got it. I believe Notre Dame recovered it. Hanratty trying the quarterback sneak and dropped the ball, and we've got the glasses on him here. The ball was covered right on about the 33-yard line. Looked like co-captain Kuntz who recovered the ball there. It was for Notre Dame. So he recovered the ball, and they're going to mark it dead on about the 33-yard line. As a matter of fact, he may have fumbled his way into a first down there, Al.
Well, he just might have done that. The chain gang is coming out right now, and they'll measure, but the distressing part about this is that's the third Notre Dame fumble. They have been able to pick up 2, but they have lost the most important fumble. Coming to the sideline, and I do not believe they have the yardage.
Well, you can hear the crowd saying go for it with 4th down and inches to go, and Hanratty is in there, so Notre Dame is going to gamble in this ball game. Now, how's this? They have it 4th down on their own 33-yard line, and they're going to go for the first down with inches to go. Now, there is a real riverboat gambler right there. So let's see what happens here. Hanratty calling the signals of quarterback sneak, and Hanratty has got a first down for Notre Dame.
That takes an awful lot of nerve, particularly with 4.5 minutes of playing time remaining before halftime. The way that Oklahoma puts that football in the air, that is a double-barrel chance you're taking. But the Irish needed it, and they went for it. Notre Dame has gained 106 yards rushing in this football game so far.
Out of the huddle they come with Seymour flanked out to the right. A first down. Notre Dame from their own 35-yard line. Oklahoma in that 5-3 defense with that nose guard right on the center. Signals are being called by Hanratty. Hanratty is rolling out the right, looking downfield. He throws to Seymour at the 50, to the 45. He's down to the 43-yard line of Oklahoma before he's brought down. In there to make the tackle for Oklahoma was Joe Pierce, the defensive right halfback, and Seymour was open again.
Seymour made a great cross.
Let's go down on the sideline now to Bill Edgerton. I think we ought to be aware of the element that heat will play in this game because it is a constant parade of towels and cold water on the substitutes as the teams change from offense to defense. Back to the mutual booth. Seymour and Gladwell are flanked out to the right. Hanratty is going back to throw. He gets great protection. He throws one to Gladwell. It is incomplete down on the 29-yard line. Incomplete. As a matter of fact, Oklahoma just stepped right in there and the ball bounded in the air and it was intercepted by Oklahoma. Gladwell was claiming interference on the play, and they're going to mark it dead on the 33 in the monster man. Harper got that deflected football and held on to it for Oklahoma. So there's a break now for the Sooners.
Hanratty threw in a crowd there, Van. He was looking for Seymour. Seymour had come from the split end to the left, and it come straight down the line and was over on the right sideline. But he was not open, and Hanratty threw into a crowd. There were 3 defenders there, and the interception followed. Oklahoma's ball, 1st and 10, their own 33.
Killingsworth to the left, Eddie Hinton to the right. The I formation with Bob Womack calling the signals for Oklahoma. He looks for Hinton, tries to run. He can't. Jockey is right on top of him and brings him down in his tracks at the 32-yard line. We've got 3 minutes and 30 seconds of playing time remaining in the first half of this football game at South Bend with Oklahoma 14 and Notre Dame 14. The ball is marked now on the 31.5. Just call it the 32, make it 2nd down and 11. Oklahoma 121 yards passing and 40 yards rushing today.
I think it's worth mentioning that there's some great tackle play going on for Notre Dame. Bob Jockey, who was injured and was doubtful in this ball game, is really playing a game, and so is Mike McCoy.
Well, flags down all over the field. The Notre Dame tackle started across there after the Oklahoma center had moved the ball. So to be illegal procedure against Oklahoma, he threw him offside, and the tackle being alert saw the center pick up the ball, and he said, I'll just step in there into Oklahoma territory, and that'll cause a 5-yard penalty, and it did. So that's speaking football.
That was Bob Kuchenberg who really caught the signal there. He saw him make the movement with his hand, and he said, oh, not today.
The defensive coach, John Ray, will be happy about his defensive man thinking on that play.
I was going to say, that's great alert football thinking.
And now Killingsworth is flanked out to the left. Hinton in the slot to the left. And here's a give to the fullback Owens at the 31, at the 32. And he's knocked down on the 32 by Mike McCoy and Condrela in the defense of Notre Dame. And they're going to mark it now on the 32-yard line. The series originated on the 33. So it will be now on the 32, which will make it 3rd down and 11 yards to go for Oklahoma with 2 minutes and 25 seconds of playing time remaining in the first half. Sun shining brightly at South Bend, a jam-packed stadium, and an exciting football. Wide to the left comes Killingsworth, and put out in the slot back position is Eddie Hinton. The I formation, and Womack giving it off again. And the fullback Owens slipped, his knee hit the ground on the 34-yard line. So that will make it 4th down coming up for Oklahoma. 4th down. And mark the ball on the 34. And there's the timeout on the field with the score. Oklahoma 14, Notre Dame 14. Dan Patrick along with Al Wester, Bill Epperton, and Buck Jersey, our spotter and statistician from South Bend, Indiana. 4th down, 10 yards to go, actually about 9 for Oklahoma. And Sable goes back in kick formation. Fading back there, we have Gladwell and Theismann in the double safety spot for Notre Dame. The ball is on the 34. Sable is back on the 21. Arms outstretched, gets the pass from center, boots it high. Fair catch is called for on the 24-yard line by Theismann. So it'll be 1st down and 10 to go now for Notre Dame. The clock shows 1:52 to go. That was a 43-yard kick on the part of Sable. Wait for the officials, place it down. They do on the 24-yard line. 1st and 10 now for Notre Dame. They've got 1 minute and 52 seconds to try and tack more points on that scoreboard. It's Notre Dame and Oklahoma deadlocked at 14-all. 28 points here in this first half.
Sable has punted twice in this football game and averaged something like 35 yards a kick. While he had a run back to 4 yards the first time, he had no run back on this, the fair catch. So Oklahoma's kicking game is fair. They didn't expect it to be much more than fair. They expected their field goal kicking to be much better. Notre Dame's ball, 1st and 10.
And back goes Hanratty. The rush is on. He throws one. It is incomplete. The rush was on with the nose guard, Ken Davis, a position that Granville Liggins made so famous at Notre Dame, just red dogging in there and putting the pressure on Hanratty. And Hanratty had to just sprint back away from him and throw to the closest man to him. And the pass was too low and incomplete. They're getting the jack of all trades, Eddie Hinton, back in there again now defensively for Oklahoma.
I had a feeling that Davis was a little surprised. The hole was wide open. He charged across, was right on top of the quarterback.
Wide to the right now is Gladjoe, and here's Hanratty going back to throw. He's looking, he's throwing. It's caught at the 40-yard line onto the 45. Goes the tight end, Weingardner. Weingardner to the 46 and tackled on the 46-yard line. It's a first down. First down for Notre Dame. Ball on the 46-yard line. That's second now. As the official works moving the chain gang up for the first down. We've got a minute and 39 seconds to go. Hanratty has hit on 10 out of 17 for 135 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. On the 46-yard line, it's Gladjoe and Seymour flanked out wide to the right. And Weingardner is split out wide to the left. Weingardner is from Lima, Ohio. The ball marked right on the 46-yard line. In college football, they get a timeout after every first down, a brief timeout. Two flankers, one setback, Hanratty going back. He's looking, he's throwing to Seymour at the 45. Seymour's out of bounds. Out of bounds on the 42-yard line in Oklahoma territory. Jim Seymour looks like they'll have another first down. It's first down for Notre Dame. With the ball down on the Oklahoma 42, and they've got a battle against the clock. A minute 34 seconds to go. That's 13 first down. And here's Eddie Hinton checking back in again to put some coverage on the passes. They take out the nose guard and get Hinton in there. Seymour's caught 6 passes today. Seymour is wide to the left. Hanratty is going back to throw again. He throws one complete to Gladjoe. Gladjoe takes it on the 38, 39-yard line and steps out of bounds. A gain on the play of about 3 yards. That stops the clock with a minute and 30 seconds of playing time remaining. With the ball on the 39. On the 39-yard line, Hinton goes out of the ball game. The nose guard, Ken Davis, comes back in there. He's from Plano, Texas. And now Coley O'Brien is in there. He's put out wide to the left. Weingardner flanked to the right. Seymour in the slot to the left. And here's Hanratty going back to throw. The rush is on. He throws it completed at the 37-yard line. And out of bounds goes Gladjoe, stopping the clock again.
Notre Dame is using Gladjoe now on the sidelines. He goes down about 3 or 4 yards, stands there and waits. He is the safety valve man. And then they try to send 3 men down. And what they're doing then is they're using a slot back to the right and a wing back to the left, so they're doubling up. They've got 4 pass receivers out there now with just 1 man back to try and block for Hanratty. But the line is doing a beautiful job up there of keeping any pressure from being put on him. Gladjoe, 5 catches in this football game so far.
Back goes Hanratty. He's looking, he's throwing, it's caught at the 20-yard line by Weingardner. He grabs it at the 20 and falls forward to the 19-yard line. And it is another first down for Notre Dame with a minute and 17 seconds of playing time remaining. And there's a timeout with a score, Oklahoma 14, Notre Dame 14. Dan Patrick along with Al Wester, Bill Etherton. And while we have a moment, let's go to the sidelines and hear from Bill.
A man down here was with a great deal of interest. I have Coach Tom McKinley because he's a very durable offensive guard, and he was sitting on the bench a moment ago. But the element which is now being introduced is that of which I spoke a moment ago. The heat, the 80-plus degree temperatures starting to exact a toll on both sides. McKinley will be back. He is not hurt, but most of the starters on either side, especially up front where they have to block, are starting to feel the tremendous heat here. Back to the mutual booth.
Ball on the 19-yard line. First down and 10 to go for Notre Dame. 1 minute, 17 seconds to play in the first half. Score tied. Hanratty in the I formation. Hanratty going back to throw. He's looking. He throws. It's incomplete and sent it to Weingardner. Hanratty is 14 out of 22 for 170 yards. Gladjoe has caught 5. Seymour has caught 6.
I could see Ara Parsegian about ready to pull his hair out down there because little Coley O'Brien had been out on the flanker wide to the left and was in the end zone all by his lonesome. Quarterback Terry Hanratty did not see him and went for the inside man over the middle.
On the 19, it's second down. And 10 to go for Notre Dame. O'Brien flanked out wide to the left. Slip to the right is Seymour. The setback now are Gladjoe and Zimmerman. Hanratty calling the signals in the pro set. And on the draw play to Zimmerman. The 15, the 10. He's down to the 7 before he's brought down. A perfectly executed draw play with Hanratty making a great call again. And they moved that ball down to the 7-yard line. Where it'll be first down and goal to go, and the crowd goes wild. Zimmerman in 5 carries has gained 35 yards. First down and goal to go on the 7. Here's Al Wester.
Parsegian keeps a small card in his hand along the sidelines down there, Van. This is his game plan card. It'll list about 5 dozen plays and their variations. He's the kind of fellow that cannot keep still, and he's jumping up and down. He's moving his arms. He is constantly on the move, and I am sure that that draw play was exactly what Ara Parsegian indicated with his play card from the sideline. Well, now the Irish have 1 minute and 2 seconds remaining on the clock before halftime. It's 14-14 in a great battle here at South Bend, Indiana. 59,000 fans packed into the stadium. 59,075. Notre Dame has gained 107 yards passing and 118 yards rushing, and in the first half have a fabulous 288 yard total. But would you believe it? Something like 3 fumbles and 2 interceptions have been extremely costly.
First down and goal to go. Ryan Gardner's flank to the right. Foley, O'Brien, and Seymour to the left. And here's Hanratty rolling out the left, looking downfield. He throws into the end zone. Touchdown! Seymour! Of Notre Dame. Jim Seymour, the All-American end, has just bested Leon Hart's record. He grabbed a touchdown pass. Here's the kick by Heppel. It's off the score. And the score is Notre Dame 21, Oklahoma 14. We'll be back with Notre Dame kickoff in just a moment. There's a little excitement now on that Notre Dame bench. Dan, you are so right. As a matter of fact, Jeff Zimmerman, Ron Dushny, everybody coming off extremely elated as Tony Capers kicks off, man. There's the boat down to Hinton in the end zone. He's back to the 5, hit 10, hit 15, hit a 20, hit 25. He's to the 27-yard line with 50 seconds to play in the first half. The tackle was made in there, right on the 27-yard line. And making the tackle was Lawrence Schumacher. So make it first down and 10 to go now for the University of Oklahoma. They have the ball on their own 27-yard line. And remember this, you've seen it already. The Sooners are an explosive football club. They're down by 7. It's 21-14. Notre Dame was down by 7. They came back. Womack calling the signals. And here is the give to Owens, who sends him the line. Comes up to the 33-yard line. And Jokic makes the tackle right there for Notre Dame on the 33. A gain of 6 on the play. The clock shows 37 seconds of playing time remaining. And checking in there for Notre Dame, Jeff Zimmerman. Getting back in there and also doing an excellent job of running with the football as Notre Dame has come up with some rushing yardage. Here's Womack on the keeper this time, and he is tackled by Bob Neidert, the linebacker. Neidert making the tackle on Womack, the 32. So mark that ball on the 32-yard line and make it third down coming up. Oklahoma back in the huddle again. The time running out. I doubt if we'll ever get the play underway. There's the gun. That's the end of the first half with the score. Notre Dame 21, Oklahoma 14.
Quickly running down the statistics. In first downs, Notre Dame 18, Oklahoma 12. In yards rushing, Notre Dame 118, Oklahoma 52. Notre Dame with 177 yards passing. 2 of those touchdowns went to Jim Seymour. Oklahoma with 121. Notre Dame completing 15 of 23. Oklahoma 4 out of 9. 2 interceptions picked up by Oklahoma. Notre Dame lost 1 fumble. In yards penalized, Notre Dame 20 and Oklahoma 15. And here comes the Fighting Irish back onto the football field. We're very happy to Note today that Dr. Fred Wolf, the president of the Sugar Bowl, is on hand to watch Oklahoma against Notre Dame. Along with him, Joe David III from the Sugar Bowl committee. And with me in the booth, my very dear friend, Father M.V. Jarreau from Loyola University in New Orleans. The Fighting Irish have taken the field again, and they've come to the sidelines. Oklahoma is yet to put in an appearance for the second half. In just a moment, we'll have the kickoff for the second half.
The fans in the stands are depending on their favorite team to carry the ball to victory. And for years, folks in the Waterloo area have depended on Bill Scully and Scully's Pharmacy with the fullest confidence. Any prescription you have filled by Scully will be handled with fast, accurate, and dependable service. The pharmacists at Scully's are highly skilled and experienced men who, along with your doctor, realize and fulfill the responsibility of safeguarding your health. The ingredients used by Scully's Pharmacy are always the finest and freshest. These sound reasons have made Scully's Waterloo's leading prescription headquarters for many, many years. And don't take chances on a vitamin deficiency. If you feel you need a little more energy and enthusiasm, talk to your doctor. Then take your prescription to Scully's Pharmacy, 907 Independence Avenue, Waterloo. Open 7 days a week.
Oklahoma is back on the field across the way. It's a beautiful afternoon here in South Bend. 21-14. Notre Dame leads. Oklahoma now taking the field. The Irish will receive in the second half as it gets underway, and the Sooners will be kicking off. Certainly the touchdowns in this football game came explosively enough. Notre Dame scored first, led 7-0. Bob Warmack passing to Ed Hinton, tied the score up. 18 seconds later, 7-7. Oklahoma went ahead, 14-7. The Irish battled back to tie it up. And then with 56 seconds remaining in the first half, Jim Seymour caught the second touchdown pass of his for the day, and the Irish lead 21-14 as the second half gets underway. All set for the kickoff, and once again, the sports voice of Mutual, Van Patrick.
Right out Wester and deep are O'Brien and Gladjo. And the kick bounces around. It's picked up by Gladjo at the 3. He's back to the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25. He's to the 30. He's to the 35. He's coming right back to the 40. He's back to the 45. He's back to the 47-yard line before he's brought down. A great run back by Gladjo. And so Notre Dame comes barreling right back. They lead Oklahoma 21-14. And now it's first down and 10 to go for the Fighting Irish from their own 47-yard line. Roger Stanton, the editor of the Football News, who had selected Texas as the number 1 team in the nation and picked Notre Dame second, is here in our booth. Wide to right now is Jim Seymour, first down from the 47-yard line. And here is the give now to the fullback Zimmerman. He's down to the 40-yard line. He's down to the 39-yard line. And Notre Dame coming right back as they have the ball on the 39-yard line. Another first down for Notre Dame. Notre Dame leading by a score of 21-14. Next week they'll battle the Boilermakers of Purdue. We'll be right here to broadcast the game around the nation and around the world. Seymour, wide to the right. Oklahoma in that 5-3 defense. The I formation with Hanratty calling the signals. Hanratty on the give again to Zimmerman. Zimmerman down to the 35. He's at the 34. He's stopped by Pittsworth and Peso as he reaches the 34-yard line. They'll mark it on the 34-yard line. A gain of 5 on the play. It'll be second down and 5 to go. Just getting underway. Zimmerman in 7 carries has gained 53 yards today. Ball midway between the sideline stripes on the Oklahoma 34. Jim Seymour wide to the right is the only flanker. Gladjo's in the slot. Zimmerman right behind Hanratty in the I formation, and the give is to the second man, Crenity, going through. Crenity is down to the 31-yard line, possibly the 30, and the tackle is made right there. Mark it on the 30-yard line and make it just shy by a yard of a first down. So it'll be third down coming up at a yard to go. 13 and a half minutes of playing time remaining in the third quarter. Notre Dame 21, Oklahoma 14. Out of the huddle now, the Fighting Irish. They have Monty at center, McKinley and Bernardo at the guard, Coons and Riley at the tackle. One flanker, Seymour to the left. And now the pro set Now they're back in that eye again, and the give is to Crenity. Crenity is to the 29-yard line, and he may have the first down. Jerry Harper, the monster man, is the man who made the tackle. And the indication is it is a first down for Notre Dame as Crenity tracks it over. So make it 1st and 10 for Notre Dame. And the new rule in college football this year, the clock stops after each first down. It is not an official timeout. It's just the stoppage of the clock until they start to play again. And now wide to the right comes Jim Seymour, who has caught more passes, touchdown passes, than anybody in the history of Notre Dame. Hanratty calling the signals. Hanratty on a pitch to Zimmerman. Zimmerman is down to the 25-yard line. He's down to the 23-yard line and brought down right there by Harper and Castile as he reaches the 23.
Beautiful block on the play by Frank Crenity. Crenity got the linebacker over there who had moved over on the left side. He made a beautiful block on him and made that gain possible. This little fellow's only 5 feet 8, weighs 180 pounds, but he certainly handles that 180 pounds beautifully, Van. Second down, Notre Dame, 2nd and 4.
Seymour wide to the right. Here's the give to Zimmerman. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 16-yard line. It'll be another first down for Notre Dame. They have it down to the 16-yard line. Now I've got one telegram. We're getting them all over America, but I got to acknowledge this one from Snuffy Smith in Hobbs, New Mexico. He says, we know Notre Dame's great, but he says, don't be so prejudiced. There's a lot of Oklahomians listening all over the world. Thank you, Snuffy. Notre Dame and Oklahoma. Oklahoma with a great football team out here, and an explosive ball game this is. And the pitch back now to Gladjo. Gladjo is gone to the 8-yard line before he is finally hauled down. Getting good blocking up front. Making the tackle in there was Harper, the monster man, along with Joe Pierce. So mark that ball on the 8-yard line. Where it'll be 2nd down and about 2 yards to go for Notre Dame. The Irish leading 21-14. Chuck Fairbanks, the young coach at Oklahoma, has done a great job with this ball club. A preseason 4th ranked in the nation. Seymour out wide to the right. Hanratty in the I formation. Crenity top of the I. Zimmerman close to him, and Zimmerman takes the handoff. He is down to the 3-yard line, and Swimmer makes the tackle, the linebacker on the 3. First down and goal to go for Notre Dame. A great run back by Gladjo. Moved that ball back to the 47-yard line after the kickoff. And Notre Dame just grinding it out now down to the 3 where they have a first down and goal to go. They have a total of 21 first downs in this ball game.
And I'll say one thing, Ken Davis, that nose guard in the front line of Oklahoma, is really getting his baptism of fire today.
Hanratty calling the signals. In motion is Gladjo, and the give again to Crenity. Crenity is down to about the 1, just inside the 2. 7.5 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Notre Dame grinding it out. They're down now. The ball is marked just about the 1-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and goal to go. Crenity running with the ball. 5'8", 180-pound senior, 21 years old, from Charleston, West Virginia. Now wide to the right is Seymour. They line up now in that I formation again. Zimmerman right behind the quarterback, Hanratty, and it's Crenity. He's down to the goal line. Touchdown, Notre Dame. Gladjo it is on the handoff. Touchdown. That was Gladjo on the carry, taking the handoff from Hanratty and cracking into the end zone. 21-year-old senior from Louisville, Ohio. They moved 54 yards in 10 plays, and the score. And moving out in front of Oklahoma, 27-14. John Harper will attempt the extra point. Hanratty will hold. That's the touchdown by Bob Gladjo. The kick is up. The kick is good. And the score now is Notre Dame 28, Oklahoma 14. We'll be back. Now let's go down to the sideline and Bill Etherton.
And Ed Figler is a halfback who plays right with Frank Crenity and sometimes in front of him and behind him. Ed, did the Irish change their offense in the second half coming out here?
They haven't really changed it too much. They stick up primarily with the running game, inside, off tackle, and every now and then a sweep. We have our linemen are much bigger than Oklahoma, and they're just moving them off the line in the back to reading the holes, and I think they're going to stick with the running game most of the second half.
How about the Oklahoma defense?
Well, the defense uses a rover back, and we use this rover back either to the long side of the field or to our strong formation. And what we'll do, we'll usually run away from the rover back.
Now back to the mutual booth. That's Figler. Here's Schaefer's kick. And Hinton takes it on the 5. He's back to the 10, 15, to the 20, to the 25, to the 30. And he just dives straight ahead to the 34-yard line. And it tapers again on the tackle there for Notre Dame, along with Kuchenberg. Number 19 of Notre Dame in there was Tommy Quinn. So it'll be first down and 10 to go now for the Sooners. And they'll be running the ball from their own 34. Bob Womack of Oklahoma in there to direct this attack. He sends Killingsworth out wide to right. They line up in the I formation with Hinton in the slot to the right. Womack going to give this time to Owens. Owens to the 36-yard line and tackled right on the 36. In there's Jockey, the right tackle, 260-pound junior in the bottom of the pile, number 75, Bob Kuchenberg, who has a brother who plays for the Chicago Bears. The ball on the 36-yard line. It'll be second down and 8 to go for the Sooners. Notre Dame leading 28-14. 9 minutes, 35 seconds to play in the third quarter at South Bend. Eddie Hinton flanked out wide to the right. Killingsworth is split out to the left. The I formation with Womack calling the signals. He's going back to throw. He's looking downfield. He throws. It is incomplete. Went right through the hands of Eddie Hinton, who was wide open on the 45-yard line. Hinton was open. And so Notre Dame leading 28-14. At that time, Womack had enough time to write a letter because he had great protection out there, and Hinton was all by himself, but just couldn't hang on the 34. 36-yard line, they're going to mark it. So that will make it now third down and 8 yards to go for Oklahoma. Hinton is split to the left. Killingsworth is wide to the right. He's just split in from Oklahoma City, the I formation. Owens in the top of that I. Womack is rolling out to the left. He's looking, he's throwing, and Hinton can't get it. He's wide open again. That time he overshot him, but he had him wide open.
He sent him down from the left side, and it was just an inside pass. He crossed over, came into the middle, and believe me, Eddie Hinton was wide open on the play, but in this instance, Bob Womack overthrew him. Before, Hinton dropped the football. He had it in his hands, and in the crossover, Joe Killingsworth had been double-teamed, and I think the defense of Notre Dame had got crossed up on it, and they put 2-on-1 against Killingsworth instead of Hinton. Now, Oklahoma punting.
Low pass from Sooner, and the kick is blocked. The kick is blocked. And it's a wild scramble for the football, and Notre Dame has it inside the 20-yard line. And number 70, Bob Jockey, recovered it. The kick was blocked, and the reason it was blocked, it was a low pass from Sooner. He had no chance to get it away, and the two ends were smashing in, and Jockey recovered the ball. He recovered it on the 18-yard line. Kundrelo is one of the first Notre Dame men in there, but Jockey is the man who covered it. First down on the 18-yard line. Hanratty directing the attack. Gives to Zimmerman. Zimmerman to the 15-yard line and stops up right there. Up from the secondary is Harper, the monster man. When the umpire, we see the ball on the 14. It'll be second down and 6. The low pass from center was the reason for the block, and Seymour just couldn't get it away. He tried, but Notre Dame was in on top of him, and Jokic recovered the loose football. Zimmerman, in 11 carries today, has gained 75 yards. Wide to the right now is Gladwell, and here's the pitch to Zimmerman again. Zimmerman cuts in behind Hanratty and is dropped on the 10-yard line. It'll be third down and 2 to go now for Notre Dame. In there to make the tackle for Oklahoma. Files the defensive end, and Meacham is in there to defensive end. And the ball is marked right on the 10-yard line. 8 minutes, 20 seconds of playing time remaining in the third quarter. Notre Dame leading 28-14. Jim Seymour deployed out to the left. He is the only flanker. The I formation now with a slot back. Hanratty calling the signals. Hanratty keeping the ball, pitching it out now to Cornetti, and Cornetti fumbled the ball, but he fumbled it out of bounds. And Cornetti has had a little trouble hanging on to that football today.
Notre Dame is trying the outside game now. You'll note that they have not gone back to the air. They are trying to take the football and keep it as long as possible, run as much time out on the clock as they possibly can. But Parsegian has shown us a great deal of action all the way around.
There's a timeout with a score. Notre Dame 28, Oklahoma 14. Co-captain George Coons limped off the field, is over on the sidelines right now. Bill, can you find out the extent of his injury?
And
Hughes is out of the other end. He is not in too bad a shape, but ailing right now is John Lavin, a linebacker. Notre Dame has few experienced linebackers. Lavin is one of them, and we're very thin there and about to lose another. He was whacked pretty good on the ribs, and he is talking to the Notre Dame physician, Dr. George Collins. Back to the mutual booth.
All right, Coley O'Brien is flanked out wide to left, the ball on the 11-yard line. It'll be fourth down and about 3 to go. Hanratty calling the signals. Hanratty on the give this time to Gladjo. Gladjo's dropped at the 10 by Pittsworth, and Oklahoma will take over. Oklahoma with a fine defensive stand on the 10-yard line. They're going to mark it to 9. So a fine job on the part of the Sooner defense as they take over. And this ball game is far from being over with only 7 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the third quarter. Nice wire from Joe Franco out in Newport Beach, California. And we appreciate the comments from around the nation. We'll be with Notre Dame every Saturday. Next week it'll be Purdue and Notre Dame right here at South Bend, which will be the game of the week in college football. Wide to the right now goes Killensworth from the 9-yard line. Womack will attempt to bring Notre Dame's opponent today, Oklahoma, right back. A smash into the line. It gets as far as the 10, and that is it. Harper hitting the line and stopped right on the 10-yard line. 1 yard gained on the play. So mark it on the 10, make it second down and 9 to go now for Oklahoma. Oklahoma not wanting to put the ball in the air down deep in their own territory, but Womack may be forced to do it. He's trailing by 14 points on that board. Killensworth out wide to the right, and the spot to the right now is Eddie Hinton, who was the star in the early stages of this ball game. Womack on a give now to Owen, and Owen up to about the 13, possibly the 14-yard line. He's brought down by Kuchenberg and McCoy on the 14-yard line. The series originating on the 9. Now let's go back to Bill Efferson.
Dad, you'd be proud of me for that 50-yard sprint down to where Coons is sitting. He was nearly kicked in the leg. It is not serious. He will be back. That's Captain George Coons, the offensive tackle for Notre Dame. Back to the mutual booth.
Now Hinton out wide to the left. Killensworth is put out to the right. The pro set formation this time, and Womack's going to run with the ball on the keeper, and he dives up trying to get that first down up to about the 17, possibly the 18-yard line, but he's still shy. He's still shy of the fourth down coming up. He's still got a couple of yards to go. And now Gladjo and Theismann are checking in the safety spot. And Zabel is in to do the kicking for Oklahoma. Last time he tried to kick, blocked the kick, and Jokic recovered it. Jokic for Notre Dame. Zabel gets this one away, and he really booms it. A long, high kick, and it's taken back on the 28 by Gladjo. And Gladjo is trying to go wide. It's pulled down on the 31-yard line. That was a 52-yard kick by Zabel. And so now, it will be first down and 10 to go for Notre Dame, running from their own 32.
The Irish will have to put it into play now at their own 32, but they've got a healthy 28-14 lead, and I think, again, we'll see a lot of action on the ground. I don't believe they'll gamble with the football until they get it over the 50-yard line. I think they'll try to run this clock out. They've got a 2-touchdown lead, and it's just up to the Sooners to see if they can fight and wrestle that football away.
Coley O'Brien deployed wide to the left. Hanratty is rolling out to the left. Gets a block there from Zimmerman. He throws one to Gladjo, and he can't hang on to it on the 46-yard line. 5 minutes and 57 seconds to play in the third quarter. Notre Dame leading 28-14, and Gladjo couldn't hang on to the bullet by Hanratty. O'Brien was set out wide to the left, and 2 men dropped off to cover him. He had no chance to get open. And so then slanting in was Gladjo, and Hanratty just threw it a little too much like a bullet. Coley O'Brien goes wide to the left again. Jim Seymour is split out to the right. And Zimmerman and Gladjo are the setbacks in the pro set for Notre Dame. And here's the draw play to Zimmerman. And Zimmerman is at the 35, the 36, and rolled out of bounds by Oklahoma. And knocking him out of bounds was Randy Meacham from Clinton, Oklahoma, a senior, 6'3", 218 pounds, 21 years old. That was the draw play that has worked successfully today for Notre Dame. The ball is on the 36-yard line. It'll be third down and 6 yards to go. The series of downs originated on the 32, so they have picked up 4, make it third down and 6. Jim Seymour going wide to the left. Coley O'Brien comes out to the right. We're in the I formation now. The top of the I is Gladjo. And back goes Hanratty looking for a receiver. He got great protection and looks and throws to Seymour. He's got it. And he fumbled the ball, and let's see who got it. The whistle is blown. And Seymour held it long enough for possession before the whistle blew. And it'll be another first down for Notre Dame. The group fingered in Jim Seymour, and they're going to mark it on the 45-yard line.
I don't remember when I've seen a college quarterback that threw from the air with so much authority, Van. He rifles that football out there. It's a beautiful spiral, and it's on the way in a second. You could almost call him special delivery hand-ready.
All right, Seymour wide to the right, the only flanker, the T formation. And here's the give now, and flags are down. The give was to O'Brien. It looked like it might be backfield in motion against Notre Dame. They never did really get set. Another new rule this year, the linemen, once they set themselves, they cannot move either. And so the flag went down, and the discussion is going on now with the Oklahoma team. Referee Wirtz bringing it back and walking it off, and it'll be illegal procedure, backfield in motion against Notre Dame. 5 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the third quarter. Notre Dame leading 28-14. The ball on the 40-yard line. It'll be first down and 15 to go for Notre Dame from their own 40. They have Meacham, Peso, Tipworth, Files, Castile, Davis, Swimmer, Sindred, Barrett, Harper, and Pierce in there defensively for Oklahoma. And here's Hanratty going back to throw again. Gets some blocking throws to Seymour at the 50, and he runs right out of bounds with it on the 50-yard line. Seymour taking the pass from Hanratty, and that is a total of 9 passes caught by Jim Seymour in this ballgame.
I'd say this is quite a rebuilding job that Parsegian and the coaching staff at Notre Dame had coming into this football game and opening against the Orange Bowl champions, but apparently the Fighting Irish are just as good as they have ever been in the past, and maybe a little better.
Coley O'Brien flanked out wide to the left, and the give now is to Gladjo into the middle of the line. He's down to the 47-yard line of Oklahoma. The tackle made right there in their number 78, John Pittsworth, 6'3", 212-pound senior from Heavenhill, Oklahoma. So mark that ball on the 47-yard line. Make it third down and about 2 yards to go for Notre Dame. The Irish back in the huddle again. Marty at center, McKinley, Bernardo at the guard. They have Riley in there at a tackle. Signals are being called by Hanratty, the I formation. And Hanratty is going back to throw, bootlegging the ball and throwing. It is caught on the 38-yard line by Gladjo. And what a job Hanratty did of hiding the football. He looked like Bob Waterfield on that one.
He caught that football while he was laying on his side at about the 39-yard line of Oklahoma. Well, the Oklahoma pass defense is certainly getting a workout. Both ball clubs complained of having defensive problems going into the game. They said that was the one weakness in each of the clubs. Their defense was young, inexperienced. Well, the Irish defense has been holding up well.
Holtzapfel is in there at center replacing Monty. Here's a give to Zimmerman, and Zimmerman is down to the 33, and Bill Atherton. What about Monty, the center?
Tim Monty is very unhappy. I talked to him a moment ago. He has a badly bruised left bicep and shoulder, and he's very, very upset about not being able to continue in the ball game. He has been having, Ben, and Al, as you noticed, quite a duel with Tim Davis, the head man defensively for Oklahoma, and Monty had been having the better of it. And now Monty is out, replaced by 21-year-old 6'1", 215 Mike Holtzapfel. Let's see how he does. Back to the mutual booth.
Holtzapfel at center, and he's over the ball with Hanratty calling the ball on the 34-yard line. Second down and 5 to go. And Hanratty rolling out the right, going around. He's at the 30, he's at the 25, he's down to the 20. He's knocked out of bounds on the 18-yard line. Hanratty of Notre Dame picking up a first down. Running with the football on the keeper. And steps out of bounds on the 18.5-yard line. And it's another first down for Notre Dame.
This young fellow from Butler, Pennsylvania has surprising speed. He just put on a burst of speed as he started to turn the corner. He was about 2 yards short of the line of scrimmage, suddenly realized that he had some daylight, and he made a burst of speed and went for it. Notre Dame has 202 yards passing, 204 yards rushing so far in the game.
There's a timeout with the score, Notre Dame 28, Oklahoma 14. California beat Michigan 21-7, the final score. University of California Golden Bears beating the University of Michigan. Here at South Bend, the ball is on the 19-yard line, first down and 10 to go. Hanratty calling the signals. He gives it to Zimmerman. Zimmerman to the 15, Zimmerman to the 12, and stops on the 12-yard line. In there making the tackle was Harper, the monster man, Steve Castile, the left backer for Oklahoma. And the ball is placed right on the 12-yard line. It'll be second down coming up.
Just about 6 yards on the pickup. 10-7, Georgia Tech leading TCU. 2:45 to go here in the third quarter. And ready. On the gear to Zimmerman at the 10. Zimmerman goes his way down to the 8-yard line and stops on the 8. The monster man in there again to make the stop for Oklahoma. Also Titsworth, the defensive tackle. And they may get the chain in here for a measurement with 2:31 to go. We are in the third quarter at South Bend. Here's that. The yardsticks are coming out, and they're going to measure here, but looking across the field, I would say that it is easily first and 10 for Notre Dame. They'll have the ball on about the 8-yard line. So it will be first down and goal to go when the Irish put it back into play. An exciting afternoon of football here. First down. 59,075, packed house, jammed to the rafters for Notre Dame and Oklahoma. 28-14. Notre Dame leads Oklahoma here in the third period with 2 minutes and 31 seconds remaining to play. 25, first down. That was the 25th. Chalked up for the Irish. Here's the pro set now with a man in the slot, Coley O'Brien. And here's O'Brien taking his hand off, and he's down to the 1-yard line. He ran a counter play that time and handed off to O'Brien coming back. He was in the slot to the left. Henry spun around and handed on the counter play coming back to the other side. If you remember in practice a week ago, Van, I made a note that I didn't think that the Irish speed in the backfield would allow them to run this play because they tried it 3 or 4 times, and it did not work well. It's a thrown out with the score, Notre Dame 28, Oklahoma 14. Being turned in this football game by Bob Gladjo. In the first half, he ran 10 times, gained 42 yards, and scored 1 touchdown, booming over for the first Notre Dame touchdown. And he has been a thorn in the back of the Oklahoma team all afternoon. Gladjo, Zimmerman, O'Brien, Henry, and Trinity. What a combination. They've got the double wingback formation now. Henry calling the signals. He gives it to Zimmerman, and Zimmerman is hit back on the 4-yard line. In there to make that tackle was John Watson, who replaced Peso, who was shaken up on the last play. Watson from Tulsa, Oklahoma, sophomore, weighs 208. And they're going to rule the point of progress, which was the 2-yard line. 1:42 to go. Third down and 2, so Zimmerman lost the yard. Notre Dame breaks out of it. They have Seymour split out to the right. The pro set now. Gladjo is in the slot. And here's the give to Gladjo, and he is to the goal line. I don't believe he got over. He was hit right at the goal line. Stopped up right there by Oklahoma with Watson and Titsworth and Meacham and Files and the linebackers all coming in, and the ball is on about the half-yard line. It'll be 4th down. And just about a half yard to go now for Notre Dame. Now checking in here, number 55 for Notre Dame is Tim Monty. Monty is coming in at center for Notre Dame. Hopchapel goes out. And here is Seymour, flanked out wide to the right. The I formation. Gladjo on the top of the I, and it's Gladjo. He's got it over. Touchdown, Notre Dame. A 68-yard drive and 14 plays with 44 seconds to go. Let's get on quickly to Bill Atherton. There are many celebrities here in the crowd today, but they're phantom Purdue football players, phantom bad knees. On the Oklahoma side, from Norman, is Dr. O'Donoghue, who has pioneered new techniques in leg surgery for bad knees. Back to the mutual booth. There's the booth. My Hempel is up, and it's good. And the score now is Notre Dame 35, Oklahoma 14. We'll be back with the Notre Dame kickoff in just a moment. Now Capers will kick off. Hinton is the deep man for Oklahoma, and here's the boot. Good end over end kick coming down, taken by Hinton on the 8. He's to the 15, to the 20. Tries to go wide, is tackled and brought down by Capers, who kicked off for Notre Dame. And he brought him down on the 23-yard line. First down and 10 to go for Oklahoma. And with only 38 seconds to go here in the third quarter, Notre Dame leading 35-14. And Oklahoma at one stage had the lead in this ball game, 14-7. But we've got an entire quarter of football, and with a quarterback like Bob Warmack, anything can happen yet. Wide to the right goes Kuchenberg.
They line up in that I formation. Calling the signals now is Warmack. And Warmack is rolling out to the right, looking for a receiver. Can't find one. Tries to run. Is pulled down on the 21-yard line by Jefferson McCoy. Jefferson McCoy makes the tackle on the 21, so he lost 2. Time running out here in the third quarter. It'll be second down and 12 to go now for Oklahoma. Remember, next week at 2:10 New York time, it will be Purdue and Notre Dame right here from this Notre Dame stadium. Hinton is wide to the left. Killingsworth is split out to the right. The I formation. Warmack is going back to throw. Looking downfield. Throws to Hinton at the 40-yard line, and Hinton did not hold on to the ball. It ruled an incomplete pass. He just ran with it before he got it.
This fellow Eddie Hinton is something to behold. In 1968, in the Orange Bowl game of 68 in January, he caught 5 key passes for 87 yards, and I remember one leaping catch against Tennessee in the extreme corner of the end zone for a touchdown.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score of Notre Dame 35, Oklahoma 14. Score we gave you a moment ago: California 21, Michigan 7. Georgia Tech leads TCU 10-7 in the third quarter. Army beat the Citadel 34-14, and Purdue leads Virginia 13-0 in the second period. Illinois trailing Kansas 20-0. Penn State beat the Navy 31-6. Warmack calling the signals. He's got third down and 12 to go from his own 21. He's back to throw. Throws one to Hinton, and he just can't hang on to that ball. That one led him a little bit too much. And he juggled around, couldn't quite hold it. In total yards, Notre Dame has 420, Oklahoma 184.
Right side linebacker Bob Neidert was right on top of Eddie Hinton there, Van, and he just may have taken him loose from that football. It was a quick one over the middle to him. He had his hands on it, his left hand on it, and just couldn't hold on.
Zabel is back in kick formation. O'Brien is back there with Theismann. And Sable gets his kick away, and a good one. Fair catch is called for by Coley O'Brien, and he takes the ball on about the 47, 48. We'll wait till they mark it. 31-yard kick on the part of Sable. 48-yard line of Notre Dame. It'll be first down and 10 to go for the Irish from their own 48-yard line. Notre Dame leading 35-14. We're in the final quarter here at Notre Dame, Indiana. Dennis Allen is in the backfield now, and the quarterback is Joe Theismann for Notre Dame. Theismann is the quarterback, and on a pitch to his halfback, it's Randolphy, and Randolphy's to the 40, and he is down to the 37-yard line, and it's the first down. So we've got some changes in that lineup, Al.
Yes, we have. In the backfield, Joe Brashman, the young sophomore who can throw the football with the best of them. As a matter of fact, he threw it so well as a sophomore that Coach Parsegian decided to move Coley O'Brien into a running back position because he wanted to get Theismann ready.
Ducheny is in there fullback. Landolfi is also in that backfield, and the pitch is to him again, and this time he's hit and dropped on the 39. Bill on the sideline.
Notre Dame, and in addition to that, he has come back from a handicap of a broken leg. Chuck Landolfi was the boy who dropped the kickoff against Southern California last year. He's trying to redeem himself and come back, and certainly he looks as if he is today. Back to the mutual booth.
Bob Belden is in there at quarterback now for Notre Dame. Bob Belding, the third quarterback to be used, and Belding on the draw play now to Landolfi. 35-30, and he whips on down inside to about the 27-yard line before Jim Files brings him down. So Eric Parsegian getting some fresh troops in here now for Notre Dame. George Eaton is in there. Eaton replacing Seymour. Out wide to the right goes Dennis Allen. Signals are being called in the I formation now by Belden. And he gives off to Landolfi again. He's down to the 20, he's down to the 18-yard line before he's brought down. Down to the 18. Chuck Landolfi from Elwood City, Pennsylvania, 5'11", a 205-pound senior. He's carried the ball 4 times and gained 34 yards since he's been in there.
Then on Chuck Randolphy, he averaged better than 5 yards a carry against the first-team defense in the spring game before he was injured.
Here's the give to Randolphy again, and he cuts to the 14-yard line with it this time. They're at 1st and 10 on the 18. He gets 4 more. Notre Dame rushing now, 256 yards and 52 carries. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Primer made the tackle. Wide to the right goes Eaton. That's George Eaton, number 89, a sophomore from Lancaster, Ohio. Belden calling the signal. And Belden going back to throw. He looks, throws in the end zone, and is batted down. A flag is down. Batted down by Steve Barrett, number 35 of Oklahoma, but a flag is down. 12 minutes and 20 seconds of playing time remaining in this ball game with Notre Dame leading 35-14. Holding against Notre Dame, so it'll be a 15-yard walk-off against the Fighting Irish. Henready, while he was in there today, had 18 of 27 for 202 yards.
Well, Van Theismann has come back in now at the quarterback spot, and they've stepped off the yardage against Notre Dame. The Irish have it back out at the 30-yard line. It's going to be 2nd down and about 23 yards. 2nd and 23 for a 1st and 10.
Eaton is flanked wide to the left. The slot eye formation now. And here's Theismann running to the right. He's going to run with the ball. He's to the 26-yard line with a tackle made by Ken Davis, the nose guard of Oklahoma. Right on the 26-yard line. Notre Dame out in front, 35-14. We're in the 4th quarter. Next week at Purdue, right here. Another sellout crowd at Notre Dame. And tickets will be a premium to that. We'll be on the air to bring you every play and every thrill right from Notre Dame. Randolphy flanked out wide to the left along with Eaton. Signals are being called by Joe Theismann, who's in there at the quarterback, and Theismann going back, looking for a receiver. He throws, and it is caught on the 14-yard line and picked up there by George Eaton, the sophomore from Lancaster, Ohio. And they will mark it dead on the 14-yard line, but remember this series originated on the 18, so it'll be 4th down and 6 yards to go. They had long yardage because of the 15-yard penalty that set them back. Theismann, the quarterback. He's from South River, New Jersey. And now Harper will attempt the field goal from the 21-yard line. The kick is up. The kick is good. From the 21-yard line, a 31-yard field goal by Scott Hempel. And the score now is Notre Dame 38, Oklahoma 14. We'll be back with the Notre Dame kickoff in just a moment. Kicking off will be Capers again. Immediately following this ball game, Al and I got to run for the airplanes. And I would like to thank the sheriff of St. Joseph County, Elmer Sokol, and Sergeant George Santa for providing the transportation to get us out to that airport. That's very kind of him.
Well, he'll make it possible for you to be in Detroit tomorrow and me to be in New Orleans tonight.
All right, here we go. Capers will kick off. Here's the boot. This one all the way in and out of the field of play. He really booted that one.
And he put it between the goalposts. That would have been, it would have been a 70-yard field goal. Now, I will say this, he's got some wind behind him, but I don't believe more than 15 miles an hour at the most.
First down and 10 to go now for Oklahoma. They'll be running from their own 20-yard line. Zimmerman, incidentally, in 17 carries, has gained 98 yards. Out over the ball is Mendenhall. Lancaster and Helpstrom are at the guard. Bigby and Porter in there to tackle. Warmack is the quarterback for Oklahoma. And Warmack on a pitch this time to his halfback going wide. And that's Marcellus Johnson. And Johnson is tripped up at the 24-yard line. And in there making the tackle for Notre Dame was Chuck Locke. So place the ball on the 23-yard line. It'll be 2nd down. Jokic was also in on the tackle. Marcellus Johnson running with the ball there for Oklahoma. He's 5'11", 190-pound sophomore from Kickoff, Oklahoma. Signals are being called by Womack. He's got two flankers out wide to the right. He gives the ball to Johnson again. He comes up to the 25-yard line. And McCoy in there to make the tackle for Notre Dame. So Margaret on the 25, which will make it 3rd down and 5 to go for the Sooners of Oklahoma. We've got 10 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the final quarter. Notre Dame leading 38-14. It's been a warm day out here. It's been up 80-plus degrees and taking a toll on both clubs. Killensworth is flanked out wide to the right. Hinton is split out to the left. Signals are being called now by Bob Womack again. Womack is going to run up the middle on the quarterback draw, and he gets only to about the 28-yard line, and he's smashed down right there. And they're making that tackle again for Notre Dame. Is locked. So it'll be a 4th down coming up. Coley O'Brien. Coley O'Brien going back now along with Joe Theismann in the double safety with 9.5 minutes to go. Steve Zabel from Staunton, Colorado, is in to do the kicking. Standing back inside the 15. He gets his kick away and he booms it deep. Theismann is coming back, calls for the fair catch right on the 29-yard line. So it'll be Notre Dame's ball. 1st down and 10 to go. Running from their own 29. That was a 43-yard punt.
And quite a kick. He got it up high enough. He gave his defenders, his linemen, a chance to get down onto the ball, and it is turned over to Notre Dame at the Irish 30-yard line. That's where they'll have to put it into play. That was the 7th punt, incidentally, by Zabel. And now the Irish have it 1st and 10 on their own 30.
Notre Dame's ball. They split Eaton out wide to the left. He's the only flanker. Theismann is the quarterback. Theismann keeps and then pitches back to Landolfi. Landolfi is smothered back on the 26-yard line by Larry McDuff, the defensive left end of Oklahoma. And also the nose guard, Ken Davis, number 64, back on the 26-yard line. A loss on the play of 4 yards. So it will be 2nd down and 14 yards to go. Landolfi coming off to the side here, wide as a flanker. Eaton is also flanked out to the left. The I formation in motion now, going out to the right is Allen. Here's Theismann going to run with the ball, gets a block, picks up another block, runs wide, goes to the 30, goes to the 35, he's to the 37, and finally knocked out of bounds by Bruce Binsworth, who jolted him out of bounds up on the 37-yard line. And the little quarterback, Joe Theismann from South River, New Jersey, and I imagine his fans back there listening to WOR in New York must have got a thrill out of that one. Let's go down now to Bill Etherton quickly. On the sidelines, the Notre Dame defensive captain, Bob Olson, who is not suited up now. We're going to talk to him in just a moment, Van, but right now back to you. Quarterback is Theismann. He pitches it back to Landolfi. He's got some blocking. He's to the 45. He's to the 47. And is stormed under on the 47. All right, Bill. Bob Olson, defensive captain, is just yelling and stomping with glee here, even in spite of that bad ankle. Bob, how's it look to you right now?
All the way, Bill, all the way.
Who's taking your place out there?
A boy by the name of Mike Condor. He's done a terrific job today. Real fine job.
You're going to be back against Purdue?
I hope so. I'm working for it, and looks pretty good right now.
Bob Olson, Notre Dame defensive captain. Back to you, Ben.
All right, and here's the handoff now to Ducheny, and he went right through the middle. He's to the 43-yard line, and Larry McDuff brings him down. It's a 1st down for Notre Dame. They're on the 43-yard line of Oklahoma, where it will be a 1st down for the Irish. We have 7 minutes and 46 seconds of playing time remaining in the 4th quarter. Flanked out wide to the right, now goes Eaton. Landolfi is split to the left. Ducheny and Allen are in the I formation. It's Ducheny, the fullback at the 40, the 35, he's at the 30. He's down to the 26-yard line before he's finally pulled down by McDuff. And Notre Dame whipping again.
Well, I'll just say this, that the quarterback caught the monster man shifting to the wrong side. Harper went to the left, and the play was a slant off the opposite side and wide open. Nobody there to stop him. Ducheny now has 63 yards in 7 carries.
Bob Belding is the quarterback now for Notre Dame. And Belding on the crossbuck, giving it off here to Allen. Allen is down to the 15. Swings on down to about the 12-yard line before he is brought down. It's another 1st down for Notre Dame. They're all the way down on the 12-yard line of Oklahoma. 1st and 10 to go.
Have you ever seen a running game like this before? I've seen the Irish with a pretty good running game, but never one quite as sharp as this.
Especially now, Al, with the new fresh backs he's got in there. 310 yards they have picked up. Landolfi in the top of the I formation. He has the handoff, and he's down to the 9-yard line and stopped on the 9. And in there to make the tackle. Oklahoma was the nose guard against Ken Davis. And they're going to mark the ball on the 9-yard line. Series originating on the 12. It'll be second down. 6 minutes, 15 seconds of playing time remaining. And Notre Dame leading by a score of 38-14. Notre Dame breaking out of it. Hot Pepper and Monty were alternating at the center spot for Notre Dame, but Monty got back in there. Belden is the quarterback. Here's Belden on the keeper, and he dives to the 6-yard line with it and pulled down there. Belden, the quarterback, and the third quarterback used by Notre Dame today. They have the ball on the 6. It is third down coming up. Third down. Notre Dame back in the huddle again. Brennan is in there. Terry Brennan at left tackle, Eastern Chicago, 6'4", 230, a junior. Belden calling the signals. He's got third down and about 3 to go. Landolfi has it. He fights his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Notre Dame. Ripped it over, and Notre Dame leads 44-14 over Oklahoma, and that is really surprising. Belden will hold, and Scott Harper will attempt the extra point. He hasn't missed today, and he's also booted a field goal. The kick is up. Kick is good. He's got 5:28 to go. Notre Dame leading 45-14, and now that Purdue Notre Dame game to be something exciting.
I am looking forward to it. I just believe that in the preseason polls, Purdue has been ranked number 1, Notre Dame number 3. What a great football afternoon next Saturday afternoon here at South Bend, Indiana, when we get the Irish and the Boilermakers together.
Marcellus Johnson is the deep man now in the kickoff receive unit for Oklahoma, and his tapered kick. Another good end-over-end kick. Johnson takes it on the 2. He's got to the 5, 10, picks up a block to the 15, to the 20, and comes on up to about the 27-yard line, and there he is brought down. And in to make the tackle for Notre Dame is number 33, and that was William Barr, Bill Barr, making the tackle. They'll make it first down and 10 to go now for Oklahoma. They have the ball on their own 26. And Bob Womack is in there at quarterback, youngster from Ada, Oklahoma. Johnson goes out. Clock shows 5 minutes, 21 seconds of playing time remaining. Michigan State leading Syracuse. There's the pass thrown out to Hinton and incomplete, and he runs right into Tom Pagner, one of the Notre Dame coaches on the sideline.
Hinton is having his problems now holding on to the football. Particularly those along the sidelines. I think he's more conscious of the fact that he's looking for the yard markers there than he is on making the catch. Womack right now is 0 for 5 in the second half. He has yet to make a completion, Dan.
5 minutes, 17 seconds. He was catching in the early stages of this ball game and doing a great job. Hinton is out wide to the right. Killingsworth is put out to the left. The I formation. Womack will just have to put the ball in the air, and he throws it. It's completed to Hinton at the 35, and he steps out of bounds right at the 35 or 36, and a flag goes down. A flag is down. Thrown over here on the Notre Dame sideline. So let's see what happens. And now the official, the referee, works. Let's see what they're going to do. It'll be a penalty walked off and probably a personal foul call.
15 yards. Van, it was unfortunate, but Johnson was under a full head of steam. Hinton had stepped out of bounds after making the catch when Johnson hit him. And first he hit him out of the playing field, and that's a personal foul, and it's 15 yards against Notre Dame. That's the first Oklahoma first down in the second half.
Wide to the right now is Killingsworth. Hinton is put out to the left. Womack calling the signals, the I formation. And he gives it off this time to Owens. Owens is at the 45, he's to the 40, he's down to the 38, and he's a hard running back, believe me. Steve Owens, a junior from Miami, Oklahoma. And he moved that ball down to the 38-yard line where it'll be first down and 10. First and 10. Clock shows 4 minutes, 57 seconds of playing time remaining. Hinton is flanked out to the right. Killingsworth is split to the left. Owens in the top of the I formation. Warmack on the call. Warmack cocks his arm, throws one. This one went earlier to Hinton for a touchdown in the first quarter of the ball game, and this time Hinton couldn't hang on to it. Let's go down to Bill Epperson.
On the sidelines, we're watching Tony Capers, one of the Notre Damers who has put the Irish foot back in football with his tremendous kickoffs this afternoon. He's being attended to by Gene Taskett. He has a sprained right ankle. That's the story on Tony Capers here on the sidelines. Dan, back to you.
All right, and now Hinton flanked out to the right. Killingsworth is split to the left, the I formation. And here's the quarterback, Warmack, looking downfield, throwing to Hinton, and he's got it. Fine catch on the part of Hinton. Right on the 31-yard line. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the usual broadcasting system.
Notre Dame football throughout the season here on 1540 Radio, KXEL, Waterloo, Iowa.
On the 31-yard line. It will be third down. About 3 yards to go. Fourth catch for Hinton in this ball game, and he flanked out wide to the left. Killingsworth is split to the right. And here's Warmack rolling out to the left, throwing a pass incomplete, intended for Steve Zabel, is tight end, but thrown too high.
Don Reed was along with him there, and if Hinton had been able to make the catch at the 25, Reed would have been all over him. But that ball just overshot both of the receiver and the defender. Warmack, 6 of 18 now for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's his track record for the day at quarterback.
On the 31, it'll be fourth down coming up, and still about the 2.5 yards to go for Oklahoma. They break out of it. Killingsworth is flanked to the right. Eddie Hinton is split to the left, the I formation. And Harper and Owens behind the quarterback, Bob Warmack in the I formation of Oklahoma. Warmack looking downfield. He throws one to Hinton. Hinton has got it on the 23-yard line and is pulled down, but it's a first down for Oklahoma on the 23-yard line. First down. Tackle made by Sheehan. He's from Bellevue, Washington. 5'11", 188-pound sophomore Jim Sheehan. So mark it on the 23-yard line where it'll be first down for Oklahoma.
The coaching staff of Notre Dame now is shuffling a lot of ball players in there. We've got the entire secondary of Notre Dame has been changed, and we've got second and third stringers in there.
Here's Warmack on the give to the fullback, Owens. Owens to the 19-yard line. Charlie's block is in there. Number 27, Schumacher, 24, Sheehan. Giving him a chance to get into this football game with the ball resting now on the 19-yard line. The series originating on the 23. Owens, in 16 carries today, has gained 66 yards. It'll be second down and 6 to go for Oklahoma with 3 minutes and 40 seconds of playing time remaining in the ball game. Killingsworth is put out wide to the right. He's the only flanker for Oklahoma. Hinton in the slot to the right. The I formation, the balanced line. And Notre Dame in the 4-4 defense. Warmack throws. It is completed this time to Killingsworth, and Killingsworth is out of bounds around the 11-yard line. We'll wait for them to mark it. Should be a first down. We'll wait for them to place it down. It'll be on the 11-yard line where it'll be a first down for Oklahoma. So Warmack, moving his ball club down the field, has a first and 10 now on the 11-yard line of Notre Dame.
He stopped the clock with 3 minutes and 26 seconds left here in the fourth quarter at South Bend. 45-14. Notre Dame leading Oklahoma.
Out of the huddle they come in the I formation with the slot to the left this time in Hinton. And now they give to the fullback Owens, and he is hit by Eric Norrie of Virginia, Minnesota. 6'2", 245 pounds, 21-year-old senior, number 72. Starting from behind, Norrie, the tackle on the left side. So mark the ball on the 11, no gain on the play. Second down and 10 to go now for Oklahoma. Oklahoma in the white uniforms with the cardinal numerals, the cardinal helmets, the Sooners from Norman, Oklahoma. Hinton out to the right. Killingsworth is put out to the left. Signals are being called by Warmack. The I formation again with the balanced line. Warmack straightens up, throws to Hinton, incomplete and broken up in there by Wright, number 27 of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. WSRF in Fort Lauderdale carrying the ball game today.
Don Reed, Don Reed and Charlie's block caught there. Reed thought he had the football. Block was intent on knocking it down, and both of them were a little unhappy about the whole situation. If they had grabbed it, I think we'd have had a track meet to do towards the other end zone.
Out over the ball is Mendenhall, Lancaster, Elstrom at the guards. Bigby and Ford at the tackles for Oklahoma. Signals are being called by Womack. He's got Hinton in the slot to the right again. 2 minutes, 48 seconds to play. Here's Womack back to throw. He throws in the end zone. It's caught for a touchdown for Oklahoma. Caught in the end zone by Steve Zabel, the tight end. He just got away from the defensive man. 74 yards in 12 plays. And a touchdown for Oklahoma. It's 45-20 now. Notre Dame leading. And we'll have the try for point. Bruce Durr is in there, the kicker. Number 20, and an excellent kicker he is for the Sooners. 2:43 to go. Womack will hold the ball now for Oklahoma. Spotted. The kick is up. The kick is good. And the score is Notre Dame 45, Oklahoma 21. We'll be back with the Oklahoma kickoff in just a moment. Dennis Allen is the deep man along with Coley O'Brien, and Durr will kick off for Oklahoma. Waiting now for referee Wright to sound the whistle. There have been 66 points scored in this ball game today.
Would you believe it?
No, I really wouldn't. 45-21, Notre Dame leading Oklahoma. O'Brien. He is deep, along with James. O'Brien takes it on the goal line. He's back to the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And bumps head right there, and he might have knocked himself right out. It's into an Oklahoma man there, number 46, Gary Chrisman. But O'Brien gets up, but he really collided head-on like two locomotives. It'll be first down and 10 to go. A 30-yard run back there by Coley O'Brien. Gene Pasquette, the trainer, goes out to have a look at him. O'Brien says he's all right. 2 minutes, 36 seconds of playing time remaining. Notre Dame breaks out of the huddle with Eaton flanked out wide to the left. And the quarterback now is Theismann. Vera Porsegan trying to give these quarterbacks some experience. And he gives it off to Ducheney, the fullback, and he comes up to about the 34-yard line with it, getting 4 on the play. It's second down and 6 to go now for Notre Dame. Aso in there to make the tackle. Mark it on the 34. Irish back in the huddle again.
A lot is expected from Joe Theismann. He was the honorary captain of the freshman team last year. Threw 3 touchdown passes in the freshman game against Pittsburgh. And the little guy, he's 6 feet, about 160 pounds, really can throw football.
Theismann calling the signals. The quarterback sneak. Look at this. He's at the 40. Goes on to the 43-yard line before he's brought down with 2 minutes to go, and it's the first down for Notre Dame on the quarterback sneak.
Well, it's just one of those things. Apparently, the Notre Dame coaching staff believes in having a quarterback that can run. If you'll note, they run. All 3 quarterbacks have run. All 4 have. Theismann has gained 24 yards and 3 carries on the ground, so that ground game is most important in South Bend.
Ducheney, Landolfi are the setbacks. Theismann, the quarterback, calling the signals. And the pitch is to Landolfi, trying to go wide, cuts in behind the block at the 50, down to the 45, fumbles the ball. I believe Oklahoma recovered it. Oklahoma recovered the ball. And the cannon goes off as Oklahoma takes over. Landolfi fumbled the ball. Then there was Watson of Oklahoma, so mark the ball on the 43-yard line, and the Sooners take over.
There was a little gang tackling on that, Van, and that is the reason that Chuck Landolfi was just shaken loose there. I don't know whether you want to gang tackle this fellow or not, because as I pointed out before, he is the heavyweight boxing champion at Notre Dame, so you sort of have to handle him with kid gloves up there. Tackle him, yes, but don't try to rough him up.
All right, Hinton is flanked out to the right. Kuchenberg is split out to the left. Signals are being called now by Womack. He's going back to throw. Looking downfield. Can't find anybody open. Still looking. Going to have to run with the ball. Finally, is chased out of bounds. We've got the new all-time touchdown pass receiver, Jim Seymour, on the sideline, and with him, of course, Bill Epperson.
Here on the sidelines is Mr. Ketch of the famous throw and catch team of Handwriting and Seymour. Jim, what kind of a game today?
It was a pretty rough game today, Bill. Oklahoma came out here in top condition. This is their type of weather, being pretty hot. And I know we went into halftime. We all had to change our jerseys and the shirts that we wear underneath our shoulder pads because it was awful hot. So this is their type of game.
Thank you, Jim Seymour. Back to you, Ben.
All right, Womack completing to Hinton at the 47-yard line, and Hinton is knocked out of bounds. We've got 1 minute and 18 seconds of playing time remaining, and congratulations to Jim Seymour. He broke Leon Hart's record today for touchdown passes, and he's putting his name all over the record book here at Notre Dame for his great pass reception. Notre Dame is leading 45-21. We have a minute 18 to go in the ball game with the ball on the 47-yard line. Nice to have you with us across the nation and around the world. And join us again next week when Notre Dame battles Purdue. Womack, the quarterback, calling the signals. Johnson in there at the top of the eye, hitting in the slot. And here's Womack going back to throw again, looking downfield. He throws deep. It's incomplete. Out of the reach of Steve Zabel. All right, let's go back to Bill again. On the sidelines with me is Terry Hanratty, the Notre Dame quarterback. Terry, what kind of a day did you have?
I think I had a pretty good day, Jim. Bill, excuse me. We moved the ball real well. The offense had a real great ground game today, which I think gave us a real balanced attack. So then again, with Styles last year, we didn't have it at the beginning of the season. We lost 2 ball games. So we're very optimistic about this year's season.
Congratulations, Terry.
Thank you, Bill.
Terry Hanratty. Back to the Mutual booth. Womack calling the signals. And Womack on the keeper this time, and he moves to the 46-yard line with it. And is brought down there, but he's trying to pick up the first down, and he did. First down for Oklahoma. They now have 18 first down. 18. They've got a fine football club at Oklahoma. You Oklahoma fans, they're going to win a lot of football games this year. Chuck Fairbanks has done an outstanding job with this team. It's 45-21 right now, but not indicative of the Oklahoma team you're going to follow all year. 2 flankers out wide to the left. Womack calling the signals. He gives it to Johnson. Johnson slips and falls as he reaches the 47-yard line. The clock is continuing to go. About 40 seconds, and the crowd here is starting to applaud as the clock starts to run out. There's a timeout on the field with a score. Notre Dame 45, Oklahoma 21. All right, Bill, let's go to the sideline. Tony Capers is going back in the dressing room with the shoe off his right foot. His ankle is sprained, obviously. Let's hope it is not a serious nature, which won't come around in a day or two, because Al and Van, you saw how he kicked today. We want him back soon. Back to you. All right, it is now second down coming up. 12 yards to go for Oklahoma. 38 seconds of playing time remaining. Womack is going all the way at quarterback. The top of the I formation is Johnson. Baldridge is in there at the fullback spot, right behind the quarterback. Here's Womack going back to throw, looking downfield, throws it. It's batted down by a lineman. McCoy reached up and batted it down. 33 seconds of playing time remaining. McCoy, the man who just reached up and batted it down. Third down and 12. Every Saturday afternoon, it's Notre Dame football right here on the station you're listening to now around the world. On the 48-yard line, third down and 12 to go. Womack calling the signals, the I formation. He has Baldridge and Johnson right behind him. Hinton is flanked out to the left. Womack is going back to throw, gets the touch and throws over the middle, incomplete, throws behind Killensworth, the split end, the intended receiver. So that stops the clock with about 28 seconds of playing time remaining. Remember, preceding the Notre Dame-Purdue game, we'll be chatting with the head coach of Notre Dame, Eric Parsegan, next week, and brought to you by Ford, so join us. On the 48-yard line, Womack is going over to the sideline. And what a tremendous hand this young man could get. Fourth down, Zabel is back in kick formation. Notre Dame leading 45-21. Here's the boot by Zabel, a wobbly kick. And Notre Dame will let it roll. It rolls down to about the 11-yard line, and there, Killensworth is down to stop the kick. 37 yards on the boot. So it'll be first down and 10 to go now for Notre Dame, and they will have the ball on their own 12-yard line. First down. In there is Bob Belden at quarterback. Belden running the ball club. He's a senior from Canton, Ohio. Signals are being called by Belden, the I formation. And here is the give to Landolfi again. Landolfi's up to about the 14-yard line. Time running out. I doubt if they'll get another play underway. They're beginning to count out the seconds. You can hear them in the background here at Notre Dame. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. That should be it. And Notre Dame has defeated Oklahoma 45-21 before a sellout crowd. And in just a moment, we'll present the wrap-up of today's game. Now let's go down the sidelines, Bill. What are you doing? Ted, I think most important to those who are listening all across the country and via the Armed Forces Radio Network would be the casualty count after the game for Notre Dame. Tony Capers, the kicker, has a bad ankle. John Lavin, one of our linebackers, and we don't have many with experience, is going to the hospital for x-rays. And Jeff Zimmerman, as he left the field at the end of the game, was again limping on that ankle, which he jolted early in the first period of our contest here this afternoon. It was a great game for Notre Dame to win, but let me tell you, you will hear a lot from Oklahoma from here on in, our great football team. That's the story here in the sidelines. This is Bill Everson saying, back up to our mutual booth. We'll be back after this. Next week we should have a tremendous ball game with Purdue against Notre Dame. And before I do get off here, I want to thank all of the people. And Mr. Harold Keith, the publicity director at Notre Dame, Roger Baldessari, the publicity director at Notre Dame, and the athletic directors Gomer Jones of Oklahoma, Moose Cross of Notre Dame. The engineering was under the direction of Bob Boyd at WNDU in South Bend. And our spotter and statistician was Buck Jersey. Our executive producer was Frank Miller of Houston, New York.